Welcome back to What Remains. This is session number 30, entitled All the Keys. Last session, the group as a whole um, escaped, exited Sifford's crypt with the intent of making their way back to Nock, gathering more information, researching specific things, and engaging with certain items that they have acquired. Um, Before this process is let out, as they wake up in the morning, Kel speaks to a random animal nearby the town and sends it off on its way. If asked what his intent was, he said he used primal magic to send a message to his people. Um, you would notice that Hezrod has a certain glow about him. His hands are definitely more um, magically natured. Um, and yeah, the group as a whole gets into the carriage and moves from Sifford's Pass up the highway to Nock. This takes the better part of 4 hours, as it is a relatively shorter trip on this thoroughfare. They are not beset by any activity. One thing you do notice too is that Fiona is very strong today, possibly jumping out of the cart and running alongside it, just for the heck of it. But the main point is you make it back to the gates of Nock. Um, when you do, Anton states that he is intent on returning back to the Mardigans to find out if anything has happened during his time away. And did the transition work perfect? It did not. 1 second as I fix that. I thought I was ready.
Also, check
I
if it's
was.
muted.
Oh, am I muted?
No. You're good, but I'm
Oh.
saying check on the stream if it's muted.
Oh, I can't do that because I'm listening. I can't listen to myself. So if someone else is
Oh
I'm
talking on
shit.
the
checking.
stream,
Hold on.
I'm checking.
Okay. Sorry.
it's showing in my mic aux that it should be fine. But yeah,
Okay.
listen to yourself real quick, um, so that it creates a feedback loop instead.
Listen to yourself.
I want you to have the greatest of grandest of headaches. Please. Jonah goes there. There. Uh,
Is it working as usual?
Tom goes there. Chad goes there. Sorry, my setup was prepared, but as all great plans, it was but false belief. I think everyone is in the right spot now. Perfection.
It was,
Okay,
but
cool. So back to what I was saying. You arrive at the gates of Nock, Southern Gate, and head on into the divide between the Magic and the Golden District. As you are familiar with the city, you kind of know where you're going. And as I said, Anton states that he is going to um, segment from you and go back to the Mardigans. He also takes a moment to hand Malika not the dagger he was granted by Duron, but the dagger that he found in the painting. And he says, this seemed to be important. Um, I don't know if I need it at all, but maybe Fiona at some point can figure out what it does.
thank you, Alton. I'll
And
keep it safe.
I'll catch back up with you if nothing's crazy back at the Mardigans safe house. All right.
Goodbye.
And
Hezrod like bends down and like pats him on the head.
With his magic hands.
he heads off.
Yeah.
Um,
Yes. We'll
and
get to that.
yeah, as a group, obviously you're back in the city. It's relatively early. I'd say somewhere around noonish, probably. What would you like to do when you first enter the city?
Can everyone search around the city to see if there's any arcane messengers that can get instant messages across seas?
So, if you're trying to send a message to the kingdom of
No,
oh
to my children.
yeah, so your children are expected to be not across the sea. So, real quick,
Oh, sorry.
this is a pretty good chance to update you and also update Tom on the scope of the realm. So, this is
Thank
the
you.
continent of ENA.
Okay.
ENA has a number of provinces. The main province that we care about is up in the northeast corner there, Osiria. Osiria is split into 3 kingdoms: Liberis, Munio, and Ludos. The kingdoms of thunder, water, and fire, respectively. They're not like earthbenders, whatever. They're like elemental benders. It's just the throne
Okay.
the throne that they sit on happens to be made out of a specifically charged gemstone, and that's why they kind of take to those names. That said, you're in Munio / Liberis. Nock is right on the borderland between those 2 kingdoms, and it serves in its own right as a city-state that's kind of independent of both, but at the same time in league with both. Ludos is the kingdom of the Ruby Throne, where you want to send your message where your children are proposed to be. That or in
Yeah.
Darg, further to the west. There's no sea to
Mhm.
pass.
Okay. Sorry.
No worries.
You said Darg?
Darg, yep.
Darg. Oh, okay.
Which, for the most part, is a salted wasteland. SALT,
Mhm.
salted wasteland. Due to an annoying piece of shit. Never mind. That a long time ago, who gave them the lands, but then didn't. If that
Okay.
makes any sense.
I didn't even know that.
Anyone but me. But yeah, that's the continent as a whole. The Broken Blade Coast that you're in here is a lot less large than the world around you, because that's only one of 3 primary continents, etc., etc. But yeah,
Mhm.
if you want to send a message to Ludos, that's not a problem. You can send a message with the King's Messengers. You can send a message through the church. You can send a message.
I can't go to the church anymore.
Okay.
Why is
But
that, Jonah?
that's an out of character conundrum. Anyway, um
You love
Uh,
questions with questions. Like that.
would Avra know if right now is the moment to, you know, give the king's messengers his true name?
So
Or is it
your name wouldn't be granted. A message is sent to an individual. It doesn't have a respond address.
okay?
If a message
Alright,
is
that's
not delivered, it's disposed of. There's no time for them to return a message. King's message is
Gotcha.
direct.
Gotcha. Okay. Alright. But that's it. I'll send you a private message
Sure. Great.
with the message that I'm sending.
So you go to the King's Messenger hub and go to send a message. Great.
Mhm.
Moving on from Jonah, we'll go ahead and continue on to the left. Josie, where does Fiona go upon arrival?
Yeah, she will probably head straight to the library and see if she can figure out any information about important dates. I suspect that it might be that day I dropped in chat, but she's going to do more research and see if there are any notable events.
Okay. I didn't see a specific date, but you would note that it being a new day and it being kind of towards the middle of the day, the box does appear to no longer be locked from
Oh,
tampering. So you could try again today if you wanted to.
okay. Sweet. Give me a hot second to double check what the date was that I thought it was. So yeah, please go to someone else.
Sure. Yeah, not a problem. Let's see. Jijo, anywhere that Malika would be intent on going to?
Sure. Malika would head right to the park.
Okay. Gotcha.
And
I get the meeting. All right. John, you are absolutely new here, so I'm going to cut to you last because I'm assuming you're going to tag along with someone. I will explain it to you since you are a riverfolk, merfolk. You've seen the big cities inside of the Blackavon Lake. And when I say the big cities, think of kind of like a much smaller, scaled down version of the version of Atlantis that's kind of seen in. I think the best analogy I can give is The Little Mermaid. It's very similar to that kind of styling, other than like other more futuristic and technologically weird stuff. Um, but Nock is very different. Every building is over 2, 3 stories tall. There are strange looking pieces of artifice moving through the air that appear to be connected to these shining steel rails. There are strange buggies that don't appear to have horses drawing them. Everyone seems to be very outlandishly dressed compared to what you would be used to. It is a very cosmopolitan metropolis. It is a very different place than a backwaters river folk, merfolk would be kind of familiar with. You muted.
So yep. So I don't definitely don't mind going last.
Okay. Hezrod, where are you going?
He thinks really hard about going to a bar.
Well, the
And
closest
then
and
he
safest bar would be the Elmwoods.
and then he remembers his sort of like self-declared mission, and thinks about where he should go to get some information on that, and decides to go to a church.
Okay. So you should be able to, once I move you back to the map, see kind of where the churches are located.
Yeah.
At least the ones that you're aware of. The Ashtar Temple is not too far away from you in the Magic District. The
This is the Atavius Temple. Didn't we do some work with them?
yeah, so the writ of decree that you had that allowed you to go into the Underkeep and deal with House Daigot.
Yeah.
The issues that were happening underneath House Daigot's property with the
Right,
idealists
Atavius Temple,
and
right.
yeah, so that was the Atavians that did that.
Cool. That's where he's going.
Okay.
I'll go with him.
Cool. Okay, so just to kind of speed the track along, you very quickly send a message, Shona. Rather, Avarin. It doesn't take long. That business is handled very quickly. It costs you 10 gold pieces. Then what do you do?
Got it. Oh, after? Is it okay? So my question is it the sending spell or like anything like that, or is it an actual letter?
It's a physical message.
Okay, cool. So I wasn't
Because
expecting
it's
it to
very
come to me.
impossible for somebody to send a sending spell to someone they don't know. So,
Got you. Fair enough. Okay. Jesus, that's a good question. What would I do?
Do you want to just go sit at the tavern, or do you want and wait for everybody else? I mean,
Yeah,
again,
yeah, he'll do that. He'll sit at the tavern and wait.
planning wise, there really isn't much that you can engage in. You're pretty sure
Yeah.
Fiona is probably going to book stuff, and that's not a thing that you're a fan of. You can't go with Hezron to the church for whatever reasons, and Malika.
You know what? Can he train for the day? Like strength training?
Well, I mean, sure, but like you need a kind of place to do that. So where would you go?
I think if Injustice Fighter is still here, he could go to the. I believe it was the Daigot.
No, Ashtar Temple is where he's located.
Ashtar. Yeah, he's gonna go to Ashtar Temple then,
Okay.
and he's gonna try to get some strength training in.
Great.
Oh, you don't want to go with Malika to the park?
Nope,
I could do it at the park.
So
not going to the.
moving right along, Malika, as we discussed last time when you had gone to the park and descended down into that place, not much has changed. There's still just bodies laying on the ground. You didn't really clean up after. Nothing,
Not gonna.
literally nothing has changed.
Okay. So she will just kind of kneel down by the spoiled, because there was a spoiled altar there, right? And kind of fix it up and offer up a prayer
Okay.
to Duran Balcard to see if he will
He will not
answer.
answer
Okay.
you. And the question I'll ask you is how long will you engage in trying to elicit a response from your pact before you give up and do something else?
She'll be there for 2 hours.
Then we'll move past you for a bit. Moving on then to, I believe it was Josie. I think you got out of order anyways. Just
Yeah, I figured it out now. So she would try to find the day of the Radasheni, which is like I think Rada 31, you said?
yeah, so you do that, and the orb and the ring pop out of the box again, locking the box out for a day again.
Cool. Yeah, she'll just kind of curse under her breath and then make her way over to the library to do more research on like important days, and specifically also on what that abandoned temple might have been before, if there's any research on it.
Abandoned temple.
Sorry, the one with the door, with the Orichalcum door.
Oh, right. Great. And I think we've discussed this before. Bear with me here.
I think she's tried to do some research on it before. I actually don't know if she's done research directly on it before, has she?
Temple of the Dragon God. So it's an abandoned shrine that is where the plague was presumed to arrive to the town of Manus from. On closer inspection, it was instead where an ogre gang had taken refuge to attack merchants and wanderers in the Howling Woods. The temple had 3 doors, one made of black metal with no means of opening it, another made of orichalcum with a strange spiral hole for a very much set for a specific key, and the last door had been broken down and was where the ogres had resided. You cleared the ogres out of that wing of the temple and learned that a secret death shrine was hidden in the walls. There was a strange dagger that you found, the Athame of the helm of Athame.
Right, the one that I just recently gave to Zizo. So
Yep.
that's great.
And
So
sorry, I was going to say, in your studies today,
mhm.
the better part of 2 hours is spent studying. You would learn that the essence of an individual named Ramanon is bound in an old shrine to the west of Nock, or to the east of Nock. It is said that it is bound by the dwarfs' mastery of metal and the elves' mastery of magic.
Mhm.
And if you do some historical reading on Ramanon, Ramanon was a silver dragon that descended down from the heavens during the War of Sword and Serpent and aligned himself with an individual named Eglin. And the two basically just played pranks and tricks on everyone, stealing people's stuff, acting like they are people and causing goofy shenanigans. Eglin is seen by thieves as a kind of sign of good luck or good fortune, basically a power that is affiliated with thievery and such. And Ramanon is seen as kind of a pinnacle of the mastery of artifice dealing with thievery. So
Okay.
it is said that if someone has Ramanon's tools,
Yeah.
when they're doing like kind of lock work, it means that they are really into themselves and are really vibing and can kind of pick any lock at the moment.
Okay, after researching that, I think she's going to do 2 things. One, she's going to try to figure out as much as she can about Ramanon. And sorry, was the other one Egland?
Eglin, Eglan.
Eglan. Okay. And the second thing she's going to do is try to find out who in the city is the best at like lock picking and like thievery and stuff, and figure out if anyone knows anything.
There are no books regarding that. You would know that you have affiliations with the Mardigan family, a crime syndicate, which would probably have thieves. But if you kind of ask around in scholarly kind of circles, they say that the best regarding ledger domain would be House Daigot. They would know the best.
House Daigot. Have we been there yet?
According to what you understand, House Daigot was in some way affiliated with the Idealists, another criminal organization that was underneath House Daigot's territory in the Magic District and was consorting with demons.
Oh, so the one that we recently cleared out was Daigot.
It was in Daigot lands. Yeah,
In
Daigot territory.
Oh, so that scary individual we met, was he Digot affiliated?
No, he was very much a classical
Okay.
cultist.
Okay, just a cultist. Got you. All right. So she's also gonna try to figure out if there are any, I guess, Digot affiliates who are here, like in the city, or willing to talk.
You could go to House Digot and just directly walk in and ask. But if you're trying to do something a bit more on the sly, you know that Digot and idealists and other gang type affiliations have kind of the same kind of gossip channels as your mother, as we've discussed in previous epics.
Yes.
So
Yes.
you might want to just go talk to your mom.
I think she's gonna do that.
Okay. After
Also,
2
her
hours.
mom knows more about that.
That's
Yeah.
fine. And then, Jonah, when you arrive at Ashar Temple, Bafadil is not present. And if you inquire about his presence, they state that Bafadil was requested by Finkus to return to Manus. Apparently, they have found the source of the plague.
Oh shit. Ooh. Okay. Ooh. Do they? Did they speak about any of it? Like everyone would ask, like if Bafadil
I have no more
or...
answers for you other than what I've already said, says the page that you're
Got
asking
you.
questions.
Fair enough. Fair
If
enough.
you wish to train and practice here, that's perfectly all right. The space has been made available to you by a Justice Fighter. Feel free to do as you like.
Okay, so then yeah, he'll do that then.
Great.
He'll just practice or strength train.
Hezra,
Weightlift.
Kel, when you arrive at the temple, you would notice that it appears to have its doors shut. There appear to be holy knights outside of it. And Hezrod, not familiar with the normalcies of ritual and understanding of the place, has no idea what's going on.
No.
Do you have religion trained?
Yeah, I believe he does.
Make a religion roll.
I got a 7.
You have no idea what the fuck's going on.
Yeah, he just walks right up the stairs, and he's got Avran's old sword and shield strapped
Right.
on his back.
Raises
So
his
he's just
hand. The guard kind of looks at you and raises his hand and says, "Apologies. This is not the time for regular business. Today is the day of Dan. Today is a day of worship. Please return on the morrow."
What? What?
You're muted, John.
I'll kind of lean in and I'll say, "Do you say Dan?"
um,
I kind of look around like, oh,
Fish Brothers.
kind of soaking it all in, still kind of.
I will not repeat myself. I've made myself very clear. If you will not leave the premises, we will remove you from them. And you see the other holy knight kind of like look over, kind of confused, and then kind of like at the guy's very forward nature. Yeah.
Maybe we should back off.
I feel bad for Kel. He's like a fish out of water.
I'm
Yeah.
just like really nervous.
Oh yeah, like we didn't make
Still
that.
just, like,
joke
looking
in the first,
around.
like 3 sessions.
I would have given Elizabeth inspiration for that, but not you.
Is it because of the face?
No. Oh, because
Yeah.
you did it with the sly, like, the shadow.
Yeah, Hezrod looks very disappointed and a little angry, but he turns around and like walks back down the
Where do you head after that?
stairs. I guess the library.
Okay.
Yeah, let's go to the library.
You are also barred at the entrance of the library, as you do not have someone leading you into the place. The scribe at the door says, "Unfortunately, you do not have the licenses to enter into the Grand Library and access the information."
He says he
And-
immediately interrupts him. He says, "Is Fiona here?"
I cannot tell you who is within and who is without the Grand Library.
Fiona, you tell Fiona Hezrod is here.
I also am
who-
not a messenger. If you do wish to access the library, have someone
He pats
who...
himself. He pats himself down and he pulls out his sending stone and he's like, "Ah, Fiona, Fiona."
Fiona, as you're studying, kind of towards the middle of your studies, you hear it vibrate, your calling stone.
Yeah, she kind of sighs deeply. What is it?
Are you at the library?
Yeah, of course I'm at the library, Hezrod. What do you want?
Let us in. The
What?
church is closed.
We're bored.
Wait, there's more than one of you. You all want to enter the library now.
No, just the fish.
Two
Yeah.
fish.
Fiona just like sigh. You just hear sigh, and then it cuts off. And Fiona very painstakingly gets up and goes to the front entrance to let these fools in.
Okay, Hezrod, since you really don't have much aims in the Grand Library, and Fiona's, based on earlier, is very focused in her endeavors, you're probably not going to be able to gain too much out of the library other than giving Fiona a headache. And I assume Kel is a bit more respectful and quiet, but still at the same time equally confused with what has become of his life.
Yeah.
All that being said, at about the 2-hour mark, Fiona, Hezrod, and Kel, so now an entourage, are leaving the Grand Library. By what means of transportation do you wish to return to the Elm Woods? Skyrail, trolley, or walking?
Whichever Fiona knows is like the most efficient or like least crowded option.
Skyrail's the quickest.
Skyrail, she would say.
Okay. And then, how many hours do you spend, Avran, kind of just kicking the old elbow grease, I guess? I don't know. I'm trying to sound like I know what I'm talking
Well,
about.
he'll spend he'll spend 3 hours on with a 30-minute break and then 3 hours more.
So you're there for the rest of the day. Got it.
Yeah.
Malika, you said a couple of hours, and then you're leaving the.
Wait, can I say my prayer?
I get. Yeah.
You gotta let me do my prayer.
Fine.
Don't do me this way. Okay. So she is has been kneeling for nearly 2 fucking hours, and her prayer that she repeats over and over again is, "High Senator of the Gate of Veruno, corrupter of the unblemished, protector against the mortal tyranny of the divine Duron Balcard, hear me. Guide me to my brethren in corruption, so that we may turn divinity to vice."
Yeah, damn, it's pretty good, but I still can't.
Something.
I can't give you anything special. It's really good. I'll give you inspiration. Is that
I'll take it.
That's fair. Okay, so then
Does anyone else love how Zizo says like the names of creatures and things? I love it.
like
I-
as
it's
Malika,
Duran Balcard. Yeah, I love that.
it's like a subtle pronunciation of the H in there. Yeah, it's there. It's perfect. But yeah, I would say based on everything that's been said, it sounds like Fiona and Merfolk crew will arrive at Elm Woods first. With that being said, as you enter in, there are a couple of patrons inside. There are a few people who look like they're just kind of milling about. There's a couple of what look like merchant types who are kind of talking amongst themselves. There's a stranger by himself at a table. Looks like he's fiddling around with a dragon chess set. And it looks like your mom currently has the bar, Fiona. Hezrod walks in. You know where the barrel is. It's two fish.
Do they have one of those like community stew pots?
No. There's currently no food on offer unless you order, and then they will
No stew.
make something. But Fiona would know as she's entering in. Since it doesn't look like your dad is currently on staff or working, the food's probably not going to be that great.
Yeah. Mom is more the entertaining type.
Yeah.
She kind of walks in and does a quick like, "Hi, Mom. Hope you're well." But then quickly, like before she sits down, she's gonna scan the crowd for everyone and very like. She's trying not to look paranoid, but she is paranoid and is gonna check that there's no one with a fucking knife in their hand.
Tom, make a stealth check.
Cool. Slash if she notices any like noticeable symbols of I'm a bad guy.
Fiona, you notice that this stranger who seems to be messing with the dragon chess set seems to have noticed and slightly taken an apparent interest in your entry. Tom, please describe your character.
Shorter length, pale hair, little shorter than an average human, but projecting a lot of confidence and apparently making Jonah very uncomfortable by existing. Well dressed, doesn't necessarily look like an adventurer type, looks more like a professional type, and just kind of running through gambits on the dragon chess set on the table in front of him. And probably doing the same thing of kind of keeping an eye on patrons coming and going.
But again, for some reason, seems to kind of notice your entry, and for some reason seems to kind of focus on it a bit more. But yeah, everyone else, they're not familiar faces, but they might as well be. Like, they're just people that blend into a crowd.
Mm-hmm.
Something about this individual seems to kind of rise out of that crowd, unfortunately for him.
You said dragon chess, correct?
Dragon chess, yeah, which in D&D is chess.
Chess. Okay. Cool.
It's not normal chess. Okay.
All right.
Yeah. Cool.
It's with dragons. Oh,
Much
Right.
different.
Okay.
Much
And
different.
dungeons. Yeah. I think she would probably approach on the other side. If it's a player board, she'll sit down on the other side of the chessboard, basically.
Makes sense.
And just kind of nod her head. You looking for an opponent?
Always.
She'll kind of smile at that and look at assessing it. She'll make the first move. She'll then kind of as she's doing so, she will then try again to be discreet about this, but she's eyeing him up and down.
Okay.
pawn to f4.
So typically how I do games in game, I don't actually pull out a table set and start playing a real game. Although in real life I would. But that said, I'd like for both of you to make a dragon chess roll. It's a tool, a gaming set. If you do not have proficiency in it, then you're just making a straight intelligence roll.
Okay. I don't believe I would have anything like that, so I will just do intelligence.
Okay.
Which is
What's other
garbage.
tools if
It
you
is
have it?
definitely your day for this kind of activity.
Yeah. My goodness.
Are you strength Fiona right now? Oh.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
strength Fiona today. My god.
Intelligence
He actually
non-science for
slams
this
the
roll check,
table.
John.
Yeah, for the query, correct.
Just picks up a piece,
Ooh.
it just turns to dust.
Toss it across the room and it makes an impact in the wall.
Goes through.
Brushes it in your finger. No. So as you're playing, you can definitely see you're obviously not at the top of your game. This is Fiona, because of the nature of your circlet. But as you're playing, you can see that it doesn't look like the person who's playing with you is terribly interested in it either, and is not making kind of any real attempts to do anything. You're perceptive enough to realize that there's probably a skill level here that's not being kind of truly exhibited during the game. This is again just secondary to the conversation that you two will be having. So what
Cool.
I'd like for you to imagine is you're definitely losing, but he's not blowing you out.
Got you. It's not a complete landslide.
Right.
She would kind of though note in her head oh my gosh, there's finally someone who's kind of intelligent. And
Did somebody order the brain cells?
I'm so sorry, Malika. You're also a queen, but you're not here. Yeah. So she'll kind of smile at that and then raise a hand to her mom. Before actually, she'll pause. What are you drinking?
Just water. It's hard to play a game like this if you're drinking like those fish over there.
Both of the bears.
Where's
Yeah.
Fuller?
Fiona practically is illuminated. She's so happy. I've been saying the whole time, you need to make sure that your brains are always front and center. I seem to be the only one who thinks of that, but thank you very much for confirming that I'm not crazy. And as she says that, she raises her hand to her mom and kind of signals for actually just 2 glasses of water. She was gonna drink something, but now she's just gonna do water too.
Peer pressure, we love it. Okay. The cups will eventually arrive, and she'll leave a pitcher of water out too.
I suppose that I'll be owing you a favor now.
she just laughs at that. That's my mom. I really get drinks for free. It's part of the whole family deal. But I really do like the fact that you seem to actually have your wits about you. Where are you from?
I'm assuming the Seiryu aspect is clear, or
Yeah, so Saryujan are pretty noticeable. They're the folk that come from the lands of the Blue Dragon, south of Osiria. Out of character, again, without they're very different to Osirians. They're basically the same differentiation between like an Asian and like a European. That kind of divide.
Okay, so she would kind of note it, but she's still asking to kind of like test if he's going to tell her.
from somewhere far away from here. But I've spent quite a bit of time in Nock, and interesting people here. Again, looking at the fish people.
Yeah. She just kind of she holds back a sigh at that, but kind of smiles and waves actually over at them. I'm actually traveling with them, so if you want to meet your that is Hedgehog. Yes, that is Hedgehog.
We didn't hear any of that, did we?
I just assume he's doing that at random, anyways, right? That's
waving.
I love
Just
that.
waving at
Like,
everybody.
Actually, if you look at what he's doing, he's actually showing Kel this new trick he can do where he just spontaneously conjures fire.
I'm just like,
that will certainly distract me for a little while from the game.
Yeah. Actually, the second she sees the fire emerge, Fiona will immediately like narrow her eyes and snap over. We don't use magic in my mom's tavern.
Whoa!
Put it away. She'll just kind of like
You startle him and it like sputters out and it like fizzles out into like a bunch of sparks.
and she'll actually call up to her mom. Sorry, mom.
Huh? She doesn't seem to notice. You can see that she's reading a book, and you would know it's probably another romance novel.
Oh, classic Anne.
As
She'll
she
then turn
should.
back to her chess component and just kind of think for a moment. So, I do have to wonder here. You set up a game of chess, and am I the only person who's wanted to play with
Sorry.
you? Or
Sorry, you have some very interesting people that you travel with, apparently. Sorry, what was the question?
yeah, she'll just kind of laugh at that. Yes, they are very distracting, but also very colourful and flavourful and great people to be around. But on the note of I don't even know what I'm saying anymore. And she'll actually just like kind of slam her head a few times. And like, you'll note that as she does so, she's kind of slamming this like circlet that's around her head. And you actually hear her whisper, Seymour, what was I thinking? What was I talking about before? Seymour, please help me.
You're speaking to me out loud, madam. This voice you don't hear, by the way, Tom. You're speaking to me out loud, madam. Use your mind.
You see Fiona like nod her head a few times and then kind of stare off into space for a hot second as she's asking the creature in her mind,
Hold
do
on.
you think that
I think he's about to reply to your question. You can't
like
listen,
kind of blinks.
you can't
she
listen
kinda
to
blinks.
both at once.
Oh my gosh, yeah. Fiona just has this complete like weird glitch. Like she looks very odd right now. You were complaining about the fish, but this is a very odd thing to see. It's like she's talking to 2 or 3 people.
There's a very
But she suddenly
weird-
like stops herself.
I'll just
Yes.
take a slow drink of water while I wait for whatever is going on to sort itself out.
She just kind of nods her head. I am sorry. I wish that I was meeting you in different circumstances. I'm not my best self right now. Perhaps I should introduce you to them. And she immediately turns and looks at the both of them. Hezrod, Kel, want to meet my chess partner?
eh. I'm just like still
Okay.
flipping a gun around. I'm just like,
He like
I
hops
drop
off
it.
the bar stool and like lumbers over. He's got like just
I'll
a
walk over too.
big frothy mug of beer like sloshing around in his hands.
Malachi, real quick, you were heading to the Elmwoods after Veil Praying. Okay. Okay. So then you'd probably walk in as Hezrod and Keller kind of walking over to this table and sitting with Fiona and a stranger who you've never met. That said, you were saying, Hezrod and Keller, as you take a seat at the table?
As I walk over, I'll be like, "Oh, how you doing, fella?" And I'll give him like a kind of pat on the back, then go to sit down.
Hezrod sits down on the table, and it's like boom, like his weight just like hits the table, and he's got his mug of beer in one hand, and his other hand's just kind of like parked next to it in a fist. And you can see that his left hand, even though it's like he's got his gauntlets on and his hands are kind of like wrapped up, his fingers the fingers on his left hand seem to be like a golden white. And the fingers on his right hand seem to be like a shadowy black. You're not sure, but you think it might occasionally like flicker like a dying fire. But for the most part, yeah, his right hand looks like charred black.
That was an interesting trick earlier. I have to ask, are you okay? That hand's not looking great.
Oh, this? Yes, I don't know what it is.
Another long
Pretty
drink
cool.
of water.
Pretty cool, though. Tell you that.
Gonna make sure the pieces on the chess set are back where they were, as I'm sure that all of that slamming a barrel down kind of may have dislodged a few.
It was just a mug.
Oh, okay. Okay.
The
barrel's on the wagon.
Obviously, Hezrod is a spectacle, but you would also notice that the other merfolk does appear to have a very nicely crafted rifle at his back. When you kind of scan it over, kind of looking for identifying markers, because the city is very firearm oriented, especially certain houses you're not a fan of, you would note that it appears to be completely like custom, like not a manufactured in the city piece of artifice. So that's interesting to its own right.
Well, I'm sorry, I didn't catch your name, turning to Fiona.
Oh, she'll get this kind of starry blank-eyed look in her eyes again before, again, slapping herself and wincing. And when she winces, she kind of, like, again surprises herself. And is like, Seymour, you didn't tell me I was strong today. Fuck! And she just kind of slams the table and everything. The chess pieces scatter. This is a lot of force. Way more than you would expect a person of her stature to be able to produce.
Hezrod laughs.
Damn.
It's hilarious. He thinks it's a trick, and he's impressed.
For context for you, Tom, Soma was about to win the game in like 2 moves.
Yeah. Well, I can't say that's the first time that's happened.
I think
you've moved
like this
before,
is at
Renan.
the exact moment that like the door swings open, and as like Fiona is slamming her hand down and all the pieces are flying, that's when Malika steps through the door and is kind of quietly surveying, looking concerned.
I can at least say that this is much more interesting than your standard Red Dragon Tavern.
Fiona nods quickly.
Yes, my name is Fiona, by the way. Did I tell you that yet? Seymour, did I tell?
No.
Yes, Fiona. It is Fiona, and who are you?
I'm going to pause and look around for a second, trying to find Seymour, because I know that she named the other 2 people at the table, and I'm pretty sure neither of them was named Seymour.
Correct.
Sorry, mine...
Just kind of does that.
My name is Shigeri Soma, but you can just call me Soma.
Soma. I am Hezrod.
Hezrod the
y'all
Flashy
made a new
Hand.
brand.
I'm Kel, charmed.
Fiona will turn over and notice Malika for the first time.
Yes, Soma, right? Is your name?
And she kind of just like nods as she's saying it.
Has introduced me to this lovely game that I think neither of us won. It was a tie, really.
Exactly that moment, the queen piece, the king piece of Fiona's side has spun out to the edge of the table and falls off and hits the floor. with a noticeably loud kathunk.
Well, if we're going by pieces still on the table, I'm not quite sure it was a tie, but we can call it that.
As you're talking about pieces on the table, like Hezron drinks from his beer, and then he's like, "Phew," and he like spits out a chess piece.
I don't understand what this is. Is it some kind of ritual?
To be quite honest, I'm not sure that I do anymore either.
Fiona's now on her hands and knees grabbing the pieces on the floor, a bit chagrined that she had that much force behind her tantrum. So she's grabbing all the pieces and collecting them and putting them back up, and she kind of looks over at Malika.
You've never played a game before, Malika?
And not like that. Back in the village, we used to have our poppets and
Sorry, what?
play with
Poppet?
sticks.
Poppets.
Oh, you've never played with a poppet before, Josie. I thought
Josie?
certainly you
Fiona.
would.
Fiona,
You've never played
Fiona.
with a puppet before, Fiona. I'm sure you. I would have been sure that you had many. Being raised in such a luxurious place such as this.
She kind of smiles at that and looks over at her mom with like equal like admiration, but like a little bit of frustration.
Actually, most of my childhood was working here, so not a lot of puppets, as you say. I took comfort in books.
And as she says that, she kind of reminds herself of what she was doing before and goes back into her book and pulls out what she was researching at the library before kind of turning back to the others.
I'm still trying to figure out this lock thing. I have a few leads. What were you up to, Malika?
I was taking a stroll in the park and offering up a little prayer for guidance.
She just nods at that completely, sure.
Who gives a
religious
shit about prayer?
Yeah, like she doesn't care about religion, but she respects what the rest of you do.
You
She
spiritual
just nods
kooks.
along
Right.
before she kind of gets up and goes over to the bar to like see her mom. She turns back to the rest of them.
Make yourselves comfortable. Don't know if you want any food. I don't see my dad, so it's not going to be great. But I
Yeah.
can do something.
Almost as if she was slapped across the face. Your mom looks at you like completely wounded.
Sorry, I didn't mean to eavesdrop on a private conversation, but did I hear that you said you were looking for something?
Yeah, Fiona kind of stops in her tracks. She was just about to go over to her mom and be like, "I'm so sorry," but she stops and turns back around.
Yes, we've come upon a relic of sorts that seems to be very guarded with locks and trickery. I don't know if you're familiar with looking at my notes. Ramadan or God. I'm so sorry. Ramadan or Eggland, but it's something that they've done, that trickery shit.
John, would I be familiar with those
Yeah.
despite not having knowledge?
Out of character, yeah, your character would be intimately familiar with both. Like I said before, Eglin is basically seen as kind of a power. There's only 3 gods. 3. I did it on purpose too. There are only 3 gods, and then there are powers, and basically powers are entities that are below divinity, but are still barred from entering into the realm due to the covenant. Eglin is presumed to be a power that kind of deals with larceny, but also like merriment, and kind of like sing-songiness. And then Ramanan is a dragon power that is said to kind of own over artifice made to act in the stages of larceny. Like I said, a thief who uses thieves' tools and is really in their element.
We don't like that word, okay? No.
Fair enough. It's not a thief. It's a rogue.
Sorry. Well, like I mentioned, I'm not from here originally, but I've spent quite a bit of time in town, and I have come to know quite a few people and a lot of things. So that sounds familiar to me. So if you're looking for some assistance, I might be able to help.
As soon as he says that, Fiona looks really excited and happy. But then in your head, Malika, you hear,
Do you think we can trust him?
I have no idea. Absolutely not. Who is this man? I thought he was your friend.
Just responds, I just met him, like today.
She
I'm
responds
actually
out
gonna go
loud.
help my mom. Can you try to figure out who the fuck he is while I'm helping
Wait,
her?
Hold on.
out loud?
Hold on. Fiona, you're doing a lot of multitasking here, and we've already
So much
covered that that's
multitasking.
not working. So can you do me a favor and just make a deception roll?
Absolutely. I would love to because it's she's not very good at what she's doing.
Can I? Oh, never mind.
Okay, based on my first roll, I'm
I'm
not
good
going to
at
be very good at anything either.
Yeah.
Soma notices that as you offer your services to assist, there's a moment where Fiona kind of blanks out for a second, like she did when she was talking to an unknown element named Seymour. You then see that the new person who's entered in kind of like just ticked to the side a little bit, but then like
Can I make a deception roll?
you're not really again, it's someone's talking to you, so there's just that notice. You don't actually like do anything beyond that. What you do notice is that Fiona's face, you saw how Josie's face was currently acting when she was explaining what was going on to Malika in character. That's happening with Fiona's face, but just like subtly. So there's a lot of weird kind of distress and like confusion and like paranoia that's kind of present in her face, that's kind of maneuvering there. And it with your insight being as high as it is, you're not sure why that's happening, but you're pretty sure that she's communicating with something that you can't see.
We'll just continue to patiently drink water as I have every single time one of these weirdos has done something.
And there's like a noticeable pause in between you offering your assistance and Fiona responding. But after like a solid like minute of this, she seems to school her features again and turn back.
That is a really kind offer. But before I do any sort of meeting with new friends, I like to get to know them first. So I'm going to buy us all around, and why don't the rest of you chat?
Darling, make mine a tea, please.
She nods at that and heads over to the desk.
I will
As
take
she's-
Malika's beer.
as she does so,
Oh, he's
she will-
having.
One Malika's beer for me too, please.
2 beers. Fiona rolls her eyes at that. But then Hezrod, in your head, you hear,
Try to figure out if he's a good person, okay?
Oh, no.
Hezron just says, he's just like staring off into nowhere. And out of nowhere, he just goes, okay.
Good.
Perfect. She's never done this with Hal, so I don't think she will, but she will turn Avaran. You will also hear in your
Everyone's
head.
not there.
He's not there. Oh, right. Okay, never mind.
He's
So it's
working
just
out,
like-
getting
Okay, great.
muscles.
He's getting buff. He's getting swole.
Great. She will then go toward the bar and busy herself helping her mom making meals. And she will apologize to her mom and say,
I love your meals, Mom. You know I do.
Yeah, whatever. Just get me the salt, and you know that most of the problem is she overseasons things. Like,
yeah. Fiona will attempt to try to make it better. Like, she'll try to, like, hide the seasoning a little bit, but we'll see what happens.
fair. Make a cook's tools check.
Ooh, what would that
It's a
be?
tool. The cook's utensils is one of the tool options. And if you were going to make it, you'd be making it with wisdom, since you're trying to gauge it out, not actually using a recipe. But if
Okay,
you don't
so-
have the tool proficiency, just an intelligence roll.
Intelligence? Oh, we love that in this house.
Or sorry, wisdom.
Oh, okay. Well, so that instead of a plus, instead of a -1, we're gonna add 1.
Go for it.
So that is a 10. I'm so bad at math. My God,
Oh, so it'd be a 9, yeah.
that's a 9.
9.
Yeah, it's a 2.
That's a 9.
Okay.
Once again,
So-
John comes through in the clutch with the math.
Yeah, seems like it's my day for math. Anyway,
Perfect.
it's noticeably bad every time you taste it, and there's nothing we can do to make it better.
Dang it.
You're not sure if it was her fault or your fault. It was both of your fault.
The apple doesn't fall far from the tree.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But Malika, as Fiona goes off and does that, it's going to take some time. Do you sit down at the table with this new person and the merfolk, or do you?
While all of that is going on, I'm going to quickly reset my dragon chest table, including the piece that now has merfolk slobber on it. Hopefully that's on the other set, and if it's not, I'm just going to rotate the table, or the board, so that...
and tooth marks.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course.
Well, I'll usher Malika to come sit down.
Okay.
Yeah,
So-
Malika
Hey,
will
get
definitely
over here. What are you doing?
join the group.
Standing there.
Hale, you still owe me 25 gold for that potion.
25 gold?
By
No,
the
look,
way,
look for me.
Soma, you said was your name?
Correct.
Would you like to buy a potion? I still have some extra from our last trip.
Unfortunately, I don't know that I can afford it based on that price.
Oh, that's too bad.
Gotta
Nah.
stay out of trouble, I suppose.
Well, if you ever need a little potion to be made, you know who to talk to. You know who to call. So what is this ritual y'all are putting together here? I don't understand what the purpose is. It looks dangerous, honestly.
Well, the version that you walked into certainly was. That's not traditionally how it goes. If you'd like to learn, I'd be happy to show you while we're waiting for those drinks.
I mean, sure, nothing wrong with a little learning, but what exactly is the purpose of the ritual?
It's what they call a game. Have you
Oh,
heard of
All
a
games.
game. Oh, it's some kind of highfalutin nonsense. I don't know. I don't know if I want to learn that. No offense, darling. I don't have the patience for it.
I was genuinely hoping for Tom says, okay, and I start explaining the rules, and then I'm like, okay, Malika, your eyes glaze over.
Yeah, Malika, like the only games Malika wants to play are like mind games. So
That's
out of character.
totally understandable.
Out
It's
of
not for everybody, but what do you do to occupy your time then?
Oh, I'm a midwife.
And a potion seller.
That's right.
So,
I'm a simple woman from beyond the hills over yonder, and I've joined with this group to learn more about the world and to help
games.
those. Not games, I'm afraid. But if you ever, get a little one of your little girlfriends pregnant and you don't think you can handle it, let me know. I can help you out.
Well, I certainly always appreciate new contacts.
Offer
Something.
services. Offer
Quite an
services
introduction.
as cut wife. Immediately puts it in his fucking Rolodex.
You never know.
just
Oh,
going
man.
through it.
It turns
Well,
out I'm actually a bard.
Look, Avran almost needed the services.
Oh, that's true.
So
That's
you
true.
never know.
Right.
Don't make that face, Joner. Avran almost needed the services, and Malika would have whipped it up real quick.
Couple of quick notes from
But
the interplay. I just want to make
wasn't
sure
needed.
that your characters would be. A couple quick notes from the interplay that I want to make sure that the two of you are aware of, and you can kind of go from where you want with that. I'll start with Tom. Her accent is thick. She's a frontiersborn person. You can tell, obviously, she has Elvish blood in her based on her ears, and also just her features. But yeah, very much a West Marcher. So someone who's kind of to the west of the Broken Blade Coast, kind of in small hamlet or village that she probably was raised up in. It definitely does appear to be too thick and kind of realistic to be a deception, unless she's really good at it. And then on the opposite side of that, he said he doesn't have any money. The bracelet he's wearing is worth a shit ton of cash. His entire attire is like absolutely rich person. So you're kind of like confused, but at the same time, there are definitely people who put fronts forward and knock that you've noticed, who are not wealthy and are probably in debt, but still put forward a face that shows.
I
them
mean,
to
I
be
think
friendly.
Malika could tell that he's not broke, right?
Right.
Like
Well-
maybe
He could be.
I mean, he could be broke, but like if he really needed a motherfucking potion, like he could get a motherfucking potion if he really needed it.
Right. With the
But-
interplay, it sounded like it was more of a disinterest, and he was being cordial.
Correct. Yeah.
Also,
Perfect,
y'all don't
perfect.
trust me. How am I supposed to trust a random potion?
I'm not drinking your. You know what? If it was if it was Namalia, I wouldn't either.
Namalia's potions were like really good though.
Yeah, sure.
They were good.
You
They
know
were
what?
stinky, but they were good.
They were kind of fishy.
Uh,
I'm gonna give myself
Oh,
inspiration.
oh
oh,
God.
oh.
Everything
Oh,
about this
God.
party's fishy, apparently.
Boom.
I gave you that
Hezron,
gold, Zijo, by the way.
Oh, thank you.
I'm also going to be getting some potions from Malika, but not right now. So Hezron's kind of like watching the exchange, and he's like kind of checking out the game. He thinks he understands it, but he doesn't. So he kind of like scoots his chair over like loudly. He's like against the floor as he's like shuffling around the table on the other side, and then he's like, "Let's play."
both of
The
you,
only,
real quick.
the only,
Go ahead.
okay, good.
Go ahead.
The only thing I'll mention is it is not a traditional move for the dragon to end up in your mouth. Just getting that out of the way. I'm not sure if that's a variant rule, but
It was in my beer.
oh, okay.
So
I spit it out.
Apologies.
the two of you, if you have Dragon Trash trained as a tool, roll it with intelligence. If you don't have it, just make a straight intelligence check.
Okay. Hezrod does not.
Yeah, so there is a modifier for you rolling without the skill trained as a note. So
That's fine.
I will be taking that into account when you roll your dice.
And I have 10 intelligence.
Point over at Soma. Say, my money's on this one.
Yeah, there we go. I rolled an 8.
Okay. So, very quickly, in the process, what is happening here is Chad, from your perspective, have you ever tried to teach somebody magic
Yes.
who is absolutely not someone who games?
Right.
So you understand where Hezrod is, right?
Right.
Okay. And then flipping that around to Tom, same thing, but reversed. So the game is very much not a test of intelligence and cunning. It's literally you just explaining the rules, re-explaining the rules, explaining the rules in practice, explaining yourself when you make a perfectly valid and obviously noted move that was explained how it works very clearly at the beginning. And Malika's watching this as Hezrod is very expectedly being talked to like he is an infant in this regard. But
Patiently, not with disdain.
Soma does not break, does not like start. It's like Thomas said, he is very patient. A teacher's patience.
Yeah, so while he's all like stoic and like composed and stuff on his side of the table, as he's like pointing things out and indicating them to Hezrod, Hezrod's like, he's like leaning down and like staring at the pieces.
As long as one doesn't go in the mouth, we're fine.
Yeah, at the beginning he was like sort of like doing it as he wasn't paying attention to what he was doing. He was
Yeah.
more studying
Mhm.
Soma. But as Soma continued to like patiently explain the game, Hezrod actually like got distracted from his objective of studying and assessing Soma and was like, oh, I think I'm actually like learning something here. This is really cool. And so then he actually like his entire focus shifts to like trying to pay attention to what Soma's trying to teach him and play the game.
And you'll note that as the game progresses, Hezrod's a perceptive of enough individual to realize that Soma is going very easy on you. And even despite that, you feel like you're conflicted in a position of, this is a very difficult position for me to win. Unless the question I asked Tom here is answered a certain way. Do you allow Hezrod to win or do you take him?
I will let the game linger for quite a while, but I will take the game.
So like I said, you can very much understand that Soma is allowing you to see things in practice, and then at the end you realize that he had you the entire time. You're a perceptive enough
Right.
guy to realize that that was the case. And
It's like at one point, Hezrod's like, "I'm taking ground," and he's like, "No, he's giving ground."
yeah, you kind of go, oh, I get it. I was a fool the whole time. But you very clearly realize that this game definitely requires a lot more practice, much with anything. And as you kind of like think about that, you look to the hand that does not destroy, and kind of go, order, function.
Very good first game.
The food is placed down at the table by the Woods family, and
Malika takes a sip of her tea and then sprays it all over the table. Fiona, it's full of salt.
The tea.
That's good.
Fiona just like cringes because this is not the first complaint she's heard of that nature, and just kind of nods her head solemnly. Yes, it is. We also have water.
I can attest the water, at least, is
He
not salty.
is water.
Hezrod is wet but unbothered.
It's salt water, whatever. Briny salt
I
water.
think I'm fine, thank you.
He'll start trying the food.
I will very carefully wipe down the pieces and start putting the dragon chest set up because it is clearly not safe in this building.
Child, you got no idea.
I'm gonna play a game inside of a game, you guys.
That was an interesting ritual.
The food is, like I said, not great. It's edible, but it definitely is like a very bland, salty kind of loaf of meats.
Still better than a red dragon.
Yeah.
Yeah, Hezrod doesn't care. He tears into it.
Yeah.
I'll kind of be like, oh, no.
He's just like
Not
eating
agreeing with
noisily
him.
with one hand and like just slurping up beer with the other.
Well, isn't in the ocean all the food really salty?
Yes.
Not on the rivers.
Oh my god,
tell you that.
it's like Worf.
Not in the rivers. That's true.
It's like
Mhm.
that's sort of like Worf.
I love it.
He's like,
I will just be continually patiently eating, waiting for perhaps Fiona to return or something else to
yeah.
pop up.
Fiona comes back with again served out the food, comes back with another pitcher of water, and kind of sits down to start eating. And everyone's kind of sat at the table now together. The dragon chest set has been put away. There are now two
That was the
pitchers of
same
water.
pan.
Yeah. Oh yeah, slightly chewed upon, slightly smelly. Despite your efforts.
Briny. A little
Yeah.
briny.
So
Anybody
Fiona,
seen
as she's eating, will try to cover up her mind meld by, like, as she's eating a bite in her head, she'll say to Malika, "So, did anything incriminating, or do you think we can trust him?"
We've known this man for like 30 minutes. I don't think. I mean, look, let's spend more time with him, more than one night, and then we'll see if we can trust him.
She nods, but then as she's like eating her other bite, she says, "We also haven't known the other fish long either. We should maybe figure out if he's bad news bears or if he's actually a good person. I don't know either."
That's a good point. Although he did prove himself by literally blowing off a dragon's head that was about to murder us all. So
Yeah. She immediately nods and out loud says, "That's a really good point. That's a very good point. That's very trustworthy behavior."
All right, Tom, that's a tough act to follow.
What's that? What'd you say, Fiona?
Oh no, they're talking in their heads.
Oh, I thought
She says
said
this
it out
very
loud.
final
Oh, yeah.
line out loud.
Oh, okay.
She says the very final line out loud. "That's a really good point. That is very good."
Oh.
And then she kind of catches herself and like thinks again. "Oh, I was just trying to say, as I was eating, right, that I think it's a really good point that we all play chess more. I think it's a really good idea." It's a good team bonding activity for us all to do. She continues and she just digs back into her meal.
I was watching. I might be able to play it.
Speaking
Give it a
of
shot.
tame, anybody seen Avran or Alton?
Yeah, she kind of shrugs again. I was assuming they were doing. Well, I was assuming Avran was doing religious stuff. And I'm guessing that Alton said he was going back to his family. He has all that stuff going on.
Hezrod shakes his head and he says, "No, the church is closed."
Oh,
Church was closed.
the church
course,
is.
it's
Oh,
Dan.
right.
Yes, that is
I'll
why
chime
we
in.
came and found you at the library.
You hear someone say, "Of course, it's Dan."
Who? Say
Oh.
Dan?
Sorry, who said that?
Soma. He said, "Of course, it's Dan." Like he
Soma.
understands the religious practices of the city, and he said, "Of course, the church is closed on a holy day. It's the last day of the 6th day. It's the day of Dan. They're doing all their worship and shit."
I just put my
Actual-
hands up. I'm just like,
Exactly.
Actual proof I've been in the
Shrug.
city.
Yeah. And again, Fiona kind of like nods this and yeah, out loud she says, honestly, I don't really love sharing the information I've learned in my studies. But it seems, Soma, like you're very knowledgeable, particularly about this city. And I don't think it would be a bad idea if we maybe pooled our resources and did you want to stay? Are you staying at this hotel right now?
I was just visiting for a meal, which, credit to your mother, this is certainly edible.
Yeah, Fiona just nods, fully understanding the implication. She's aware.
I haven't procured a room or determined any particular location for the night.
She kind of like casts a quick glance at Malika before turning back to you. Well, in that case, I mean, the rest of us are all staying here. If you want to stay the night, I believe in the morning we were going to do some more, research and regrouping, and perhaps you'd be interested in joining us.
Certainly. Like I said, I may not have the answers, but I may know the people that might.
She nods her head at that. And now looks over at Kel. So, I really, really admire all the work you did killing that dragon and helping us not die in that place. But I do have to ask, what are you doing in Nock? Are you religious too?
no, not really. Don't have much religion up the river. I honestly just following you guys around because figure we figure out what's going on with trade up to the tribe.
Well, and all of his friends are dead, so
I did lose a brother and 2 friends. That was it was tragic.
Fiona kind
Right.
of
Did
Hezrod pats him on the back and like slides a beer over to him.
yeah, it's okay. And then he grabs the beer and just gulp, 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 gulp. Yeah, I did send some word up there, so at least they know what's going on and they can take care of that. Let the families know. But yeah, I guess right now I'm along for the ride until we figure out what's. I can at least find something that's causing trouble up there or trade up there.
yeah. She kind of like extends a hand over to yours. I'm sorry that we didn't really get to introduce ourselves. We met under very awkward circumstances. And that's actually
Very.
kind of look over at Soma. This is all probably very confusing for you. You see, we've been doing research in various tombs. Are you familiar with the? She kind of pauses at this. History of this town.
John, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
Yes.
So you're very familiar with the Underkeep. Hint, hint, nudge, nudge to what you've mentioned in your side chat there. And then also you are familiar with the kind of shrines in and about the Broken Blade Coast. If you don't have history trained, not much more than that.
Well, I do have some familiarity with it, and I guess in the interest of full honesty, I should reveal that I'm not here by chance. Perhaps you guys are aware that you have a little bit of a reputation in certain circles around here.
Good.
Fiona is shook. She is shook. She immediately pales.
I beg your pardon. Who told you about me?
Some people around the city are calling you the heroes of the Underkeep. Was that what it was, John? The
Heroes-
Underkeep was.
Heroes of the Grand Library.
Okay.
You're
Yeah,
a hero. Oh, that's wonderful.
We're
That's great.
fucking heroes.
We're
Hezron looks
heroes.
confused
All right.
as fuck, because
So-
he's like, what do I have to do with the library? Like, he just saw it for the first time today. In his mind, it's like, I visited the library once and I'm a hero.
I will tell you that you don't always get to choose what your reputation becomes. But that
So-
aside,
I think like Malika, like Fiona, for a second was like, fuck. And then when he's like, the heroes
Yeah.
of the Grand Library, she's like, fuck, okay.
Thank God it's not the real shit. I mean,
I love
that
Duron, it's not the real shit.
Because like because child, they're gonna come for us with like torches,
Pitchforks.
pitchforks, burned at the motherfucking stake.
Oh shit.
But they really
I love that
think,
both the warlocks had the same reaction.
Yeah.
Everyone else
Yeah.
is just chilling.
but they really think you're a motherfucking wizard, and they really think. Well, I don't know what they think about Malika,
Midwife.
Midwife.
a midwife. Okay, cool.
But yeah.
They're going to be like, stand aside, priest of Atavius, and Hezron's just going to be like, blah!
so I didn't come here by chance instead of one of the other taverns in this city. I was hoping to meet you, but before revealing that, I wanted to make sure that I could trust all of you. And if you survived a dragon, well, you're certainly capable.
Blew its head off.
Yeah.
Hezron like holds up his necklace and he says, we got its teeth.
Out of teeth.
Sure enough, they are dragon teeth.
So, Soma, in your head, you hear, full transparency. I wanted to make sure I could trust you too.
Not a surprise to you.
Yeah, okay. Not much of a visual reaction from that, given the.
The interplay.
I'll just nod subtly.
Yeah. But she'll kind of turn to the others and kind of clap her hands.
Well, it looks like we're all on the right path and none of us are going to stab each other. So let's drink to that.
And she pulls, she like grabs her thing of water and does a group cheer.
Yeah.
Yeah, Hezron gladly like joins in that, like slams his mug against everybody else's. It's like, hey, we're having a hell of a time. It's like, but Avran's not here. Who cares? Who cares?
At that,
Yeah, he's
actually,
getting swole.
well, she actually pulls out her messenger stone and kind of like angrily looks at it.
Avran, I know you don't know how to use this thing, but if you do, where are you?
You're in the midst of
He's
practicing.
squatting right now.
Yeah, squatting.
Squatting.
So then the stone kind of oscillates in your pocket.
Yep. So he's gonna hold the bar with one hand, or the thing.
Yeah.
Wait, whatever.
I've never
And
worked
he's
out
gonna-
a day in my life. It sounds great.
It's
Whatever
okay.
you're saying.
He's gonna hold it. It's tough.
Then
You can
someone's
do
gonna
it.
fall over.
He's gonna flip it. He's gonna flip it. Yes.
Where are you? Are you doing religious things?
It's not a flip phone. The only person who ever had a flip call stone was Namalia. She put it in a clamshell. You do not have a flip send stone.
All right, whatever. I touched
Everybody
it. I
trying to
pressed
copy
the button.
Namalia.
Yeah. Get the
I
point.
didn't even know that was a thing, but okay.
I just had to bring it back up. This is hilarious.
He's like, something like that.
Okay, she'll just kind of
Pause. Well, we're all drinking and eating and talking about our next plan. If you want to join us at the tavern, or you can keep praying. Bye.
And she puts her stone away.
Puts it down and continues. I don't know how long it's been, so I'm assuming it's towards the end of the workout.
Yeah, that's fine.
John?
If you're heading over that
Okay.
way, that's fine. That's fine. It'll be
Yeah.
a couple minutes. I'll basically ring you in when you enter stage.
Okay. Is it cold or is it hot outside? Or is it like
It's summer, so it's even in the evenings it's
Alright.
still like a crisp 60.
So he'll be shirtless.
Fair enough. I know you're trying to get on the cool kids with abs party, but
Exactly.
I don't know
I
if it's
am.
gonna work for you, buddy.
Just shut up. Just accept it.
Laura dear, abs be thy name. Anywho, back to the table.
May thy abs be ripped on earth as they are in heaven.
Fair. But yeah, back to the table. After Fiona kind of makes a call.
Kind of puts her stone away, actually. But she kind of pauses to the rest of them.
Oh, Kel, do you have one of these?
And she pulls it up again.
Muted if you're talking. Sean?
Huh?
Oh, she asked you a question. She asked you
Oh,
if you have a
sorry.
calling stone. So, real quick, a calling stone is kind of unique to Nock. It is like
Okay.
a sending stone, except the magic is different. The magic is limited to the city proper, and it allows you to
Okay.
connect with multiple different stones and change who you wish to speak to by willing it to directly connect to someone your stone is connected to. So
Okay.
basically, you touch stones, and then you can talk to that person when you want to, so long as you're both within the city of Nock.
Okay. Well, no. I mean, I got some pebbles in here. That you just magic them to.
I don't know how to make them, but I was thinking maybe we should get you one too, if we're all going to work together. And
She looks over at Soma.
you don't happen to have one, do you?
You can actually see his on his wrist.
Oh,
On his
She-
wrist.
You would
she
know,
like
you would know it's actually a bit of a fancier one that is kind of like high end. It's not only is it a calling stone, but it's also an orb of time.
oh.
The real
She-
flip phone.
He's
Yeah.
a rich boy.
It's an Apple Watch.
Oh my god. She kind of like pauses in her tracks as she notices it, and is kind of like
Shit.
putting the gear. That's what cued her in that this boy is rich. It wasn't actually the clothes. But she just kind of nods.
Do you want to connect then?
And she just holds up her like much less impressive stone.
Out of character, you already invited him to spend the night. Jeez.
Gross.
Just teasing.
I love it. It's great.
Fiona, you just met this man.
You're not there,
I know.
Aaron.
You don't even go here. She holds up the stone again and just kind of indicates.
Of course.
Both to him, but also to Kel.
This is what it does. You can get a nice one like Soma's, or this model was pretty cheap, so
Yeah, all right. Well,
Fucking
I'll
flip
probably be getting something like yours. I do need to get some ammo because pretty shy.
Because what time is it? Is it the
Okay.
evening or
Probably
afternoon?
Let me check my Apple Watch.
Late afternoon. But yeah, the exact time would actually be 4:55 p.m.
Okay. She
It'll
would
be
suggest that
tomorrow.
before the shop closes that we get them just Kel, that we get Kel a stone.
Okay. Okay. Do you? I mean, again, yeah, the shops are probably closed.
Yeah.
We can wait till tomorrow. That's
I
fine.
was gonna say she'd probably just like put it on her to-do list that we should stop by the store before heading out.
As you're finishing your meals, you would have Avran enter into the place. And yeah, setup is pretty much as
Pretty
I
swole.
explained it. Yeah, he is definitely trying very hard.
Avrian, you smell all sweaty. What have you been doing?
He's glistening.
I've been working,
Okay.
trying to be stronger. Who's this?
You can actually see this is Malika. As you say that and kind of turn away, you can see that Anne is got herself a case of the vapors.
The vipers.
Oh, Anne.
And she excuses herself.
Like a little aside to Fiona. Darling, you're gonna need to keep your mother away from Avran. You don't want any marital trouble.
Yeah. Again, just another deep
That's funny.
sigh. She's just like,
You know, I appreciate that, but I prefer to just never think about this ever again.
I love that that's a thing. That's funny. That's good.
If there are options, just gonna burn that
Oh,
from my
boy.
memory.
exactly.
Hopefully, the circle doesn't make my intelligence good again. I don't
Just-
want it. I don't
just
want it.
Just keep smacking yourself in the head like earlier. I'm sure it'll take care of it.
Exactly. That's some real
Fuck, it's my head.
Yeah.
So Avran would
He
notice.
reaches for the alcohol. Just getting drunk tonight. Goes behind the bar, pulls out a full bottle of wine, and corks it.
Avran would notice that everyone's huddled around this new individual, right?
Mhm.
I guess Avran would make some acquaintance, and he would walk up to this person and hold out his hand. I am Avran Normac, Holy Swordsman.
Not an appreciation of the title.
Behind Avran, Malika's like,
Still nod politely to the title. Reach out, return the handshake. Probably get the hand crushed in the process. Just gonna make that assumption.
Yeah,
Since we got Mr. Swole Holy Swordsman stepping on in here.
the Swoley Bible.
Swole.
Slowly Bible.
Nice to meet you. I've met the rest of your friends. My name is Shigeri Soma. You can simply call me Soma.
And I'm assuming you will be traveling with us.
At least for a time, I've gathered that you're trying to find some information in the city, and if there's one thing I'm good at in the city, finding information.
Interesting. You wouldn't happen to know anything of House Alistair, would you?
Out of character, the second the word Alistair is mentioned, you know Alistair is one of the two prime houses of the 10 houses. Alistair focuses as the left hand of the Council of 10. Alistair holds the Grand Library and the Atavius Temple in its property in the center of the city. Alistair is seen and regarded as the most honorable, but also the most glorious of the houses. They are the ones who set etiquette and the rules of etiquette over the course of a long history.
Worst people.
You know that Alistair has taken a lot of nods from the Sayryujin people in etiquette, and one of the main rituals that presides inside of Nock that is not as common in other places is the tea ceremony, which is very important to the people of Nock when they're trying to entertain or engage with an individual in a way that shows respect, deference, and just say an absolute air of intimacy between two individuals.
I have some passing familiarity, at least, with the house. Is there something you'd like to know?
Well, I'm more so wondering if you could find information about two individuals for me.
I might be able to find somebody who can, if nothing else.
That would be excellent. Let us talk of business on the next day. Today's Day of Damn.
You hear
As
like a loud,
a few people have learned.
you hear a loud footstep, and then you hear a loud kind of slap of a hand on Avran's back, and you turn to look and you see Fiona's father, and he says, "Put on a shirt."
No shoes, no shirt, no service.
That's it. That's 100% it.
Perfect. I think Fiona just
Average
smiled.
is gonna. Good, Fiona, good.
And then he kind
I
of,
do have to say, this is certainly the most interesting tavern in Knock.
well, thank you kindly, he says as he walks towards the back. And he kind
As
of,
he's leaving, Fiona
It's
calls
gonna
out,
go.
Dad, can you make us something else, please? The food is great, as you know. Mom is a great cook, but just please something else.
the whole time you're saying that, you can hear this, in the back. And you see him walk around to the back of the bar and say, sure. Something simple, something light.
She nods her head. And a tea for, a tea, please, for her.
Nods his head and kind of heads into the back. After a couple of moments, you kind of get a wafting smell of some kind of butter, possibly honey butter, and you also kind of get a smell of not something like horrid to the senses, something very kind of palatable, but absolutely some kind of like river fish.
What a strong review. Not absolutely horrible, but
No. What I mean to say is like there's a fishy smell. Fishy
Sure.
smells can definitely be classified in two regards.
there's been a fishy smell for like 3 hours in here, man.
Yeah, say, you got a problem with riverfish?
You know, this is anti-riverfish bigotry, John.
I'll take
What
kindly
I'm
to it.
Chad,
saying
you're muted.
is,
I just watched the plate come over. I'm just like,
I was just saying, what's your preference, freshwater or saltwater?
yeah, because you got both on your deck right there.
yeah.
Average
You're gonna
comes
offend
back
one of
with a
us.
shirt on.
A regular
After like 5 minutes.
smorgasbord. But yeah,
Smorgasbord.
as he's cooking, I want to cut back to the conversation at hand. So it does sound like the information broker concept has been kind of broached by Avran to Soma. Do you want to delve into that any further, or you said after fashion? While you're putting
Preferably
your shirt on.
after. Yeah.
Okay.
But so wait. You said you were looking for us. Did I miss something? Did you explain why you were looking for us?
Me?
Yes, you,
because
darling.
you guys were the heroes. That's why I was looking for
Oh,
Yes.
we're heroes.
We
But for
of
what?
the Grand Library.
Why do you want to be a hero? I think is what she's getting at, right?
Of course, totally
Oh.
Well,
understandable.
no, I'm asking
Misunderstood.
what you want from us.
course.
Is what I'm asking.
I don't want.
Yes,
Any-
Evan, we're heroes now.
Yeah. Oh, sorry.
Yeah,
I-
we're here. We're heroes.
At least some people in the town are referring to you all as the heroes of the library. I don't want anything specifically from you. We just happen to have a similar interest in what you're researching, and to be quite honest, the city is starting to get a little boring. You know, everything and
I can see
everyone in the city, it loses a little bit of its flair. This tavern, though,
Well, maybe we can bring you along to take care of some dragons. What do you think about that, Hezrod? Should we take him to go dragon hunting?
Dragons! Finally!
it certainly
yes.
sounds like a remarkable job.
Well, before we do that, I'm gonna need some ammo.
Yeah,
I
restock.
definitely don't mind putting one right between the dragon's eye.
Oh, Kale, of course. I've got some potions to
geez.
make. I'll probably go to
Okay.
the market.
Yeah.
There's certainly there's time.
Yeah. No.
Uh,
We'll do
there
some
was-
shopping. How's that sound?
There was also a priestess, I believe in Manus. She said to stop by if we ever see those, or go to those dragons.
Yes. Yes, a priestess.
She would,
We should go see her.
yes. Oh, also,
Oh, they
speaking
were,
of,
They were a dragonborn, weren't they?
Yeah, they weren't
Yeah,
in Mammoth, they were in
yeah.
Land's End.
yeah,
yeah,
oh,
yeah.
Land's End.
Oh,
Speaking
they're
of,
okay, excellent, even better.
yeah. Speaking of Manus, Injustice Fighter, I believe he's found the source of the plague affecting. affliction.
Is this the plague that Gorwadir and Hezrod mostly cured in Manus?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Remember
Yeah,
that when you first went there, the source was thought to have been the Dragon Temple, but it turned out to be not that. And because you went down to the Dragon Temple and fought ogres who were not afflicted. So
Yeah, and we basically cured the plague in that town.
yeah, but it being called the plague is an interesting subject matter that we'll discuss. It certainly
I
was
remember
not
that before.
the actual.
They thought it was the plague, and it was a plague.
Yeah, let me refer one quick note. In Osiria, there is a plague that's called the Red Death, and very much similar to the Black Death in our world, bubbles, exploding pus, disgusting, horrible deaths, etc. However, if someone actually survives through it, it maligns the individual in such a way that they are no longer capable of dying. Instead, their body just continues to fall apart, like not actually leprosy, but like the kind of public perceived idea of how leprosy works. Like your body rots away, but you stay alive throughout the entirety of the process.
That's
Like
awful.
lichdom.
It's like a very
Like lichdom.
strange living lichdom, correct?
Gross.
Disgusting.
That doesn't sound good
No.
at
I'm
all.
going to nod at that.
If you want to go back there and figure out what's happening, I would actually love to check out that temple again. See if we can figure out any key details as to what might open this box.
And at that, she'll kind of pull it out for Soma to now see.
Are we, Fiona and all, are we going to be here for the next couple days?
And you pull out the other pieces as well.
Yes, but she will do a very quick, surreptitious look over her shoulder to make sure there's no one like directly behind or around us.
Tom, so these should be in our Discord channel. You should see an image
I've seen
notification.
them. Yeah.
Fiona, I think if we're going to be handling this, perhaps we should do it in a private room.
There are always eyes and ears in most of these places, so I would agree that's probably best.
Probably a good idea.
Yeah, at that, she kind of actually just kind of stands up, grabs her things, specifically these boxes and things, and then heads up to where she knows her old room was and invites them all in.
Well, you would know that that's been repurposed as a lodging.
Is it currently occupied?
It's not, but you would know that if you wanted to go somewhere that's quiet and probably not something you kind of have to deal with, nonsense getting keys, there is a backroom lounge. Your mom just recently went there. It'd be very easy to kick her out.
Cool.
We don't have to kick
Just
her
send Averin in
out.
to ask her to move, and it'll be fine.
He can pick her
Oh,
up and move
Yeah.
her out.
No!
Before she can see
No.
Avran, Fiona would burst in and kind of grab her mom and say, "Oh, there's some more customers that were asking about the town gossip. They were
okay.
actually asking about Marvin, remember?"
I'll go check on them. And then as she's stopping out, she's trying to make her way through, and she says, "Oh, I'm sorry." And she tries to brush past Avran. There's like this tight space, and you can see her kind of move past Avran.
Fiona, like,
funny.
5 psychic damage.
Yeah,
right?
take all of the psychic damage.
Oh my gosh.
Man,
You
getting
just,
full
like-
comes with all kinds of risks.
She's staring daggers at Avran, like, don't you dare
He
encourage
didn't
this.
even do anything.
Don't you dare encourage
I
this.
just was existing.
How dare you exist?
But then she just kind of says, "Thanks, Mom. We'll call you when we need you," and then slams the door behind them.
It's a pretty simple room. It has kind of a futon setup and a small kind of like coffee table. And pretty simple. You would know that the only alcohol in this room is not to be touched, but there is a very nice crystal bottle sitting on the coffee table with its nice little crystal stopper and 2 crystal shot glasses next to it.
I'm sorry. Is
A
Hezrod
canter.
in this room, or
Yes.
did they leave him
And
downstairs?
Fiona, you would
It
know
sounds
that
like we all went.
this is very specifically your father's. So
Oh.
Hezrod immediately reaches for it.
Fiona immediately shoves him, and you will notice that she has a lot of gusto in it.
okay.
Yeah, okay. Let's do this. I wanted to arm wrestle her, but we didn't get to it.
Make a strength athletics check, Fiona. And Hezrat, since you are not expecting to be shoved, you can make a strength athletics check with disadvantage.
She said,
Oh my
Yes!
god.
She fucking
Let's
blew it out.
go!
Yeah. Hezrat is no longer in the room.
Yeah, as
He goes through the wall.
As soon as he like falls over and hits the floor, he's just like, ah!
Yeah, you absolutely were not expecting to be shoved by Fiona that hard, and you kind of move far away from the bottle. But you can see in her look as you're kind of like gaining, getting off of the ground, peeling yourself off of it, that she's very protective of the bottle, and she says,
This is my dad's. No one touch or drink anything, okay? They're doing us a great gesture by letting us in here in the first place.
Okay.
everyone's just shook. Like
I
he's
wouldn't- I
slowly
wouldn't
backing
dare.
away.
"Mhm."
Sorry.
He's like,
Okay, yeah, whatever you say.
Yeah. Seeing
Holy
that she's
shit.
literally flew him across the room.
Fiona
Yeah.
sets. Fiona would
Ezra's looking at her like,
set the box down on the table, take the bottle and the 2 glasses, and kind of move them to more secreted
A safer
area.
place. Yes.
And then everyone kind of sits on the like the futon is decent enough for like maybe 3 people, but they're small stools you can kind of pull up to sit next to the coffee table that's around it.
okay, everyone will stand. Fine.
That's also good. Arms crossed, kind of looking at it seriously. That sounds like an Avran move.
Doesn't understand
Exactly what I
anything of
pictured.
that box. He
You know
doesn't
what?
understand anything of that box or anything that's going to happen with that box, so he's just like, yes.
Yeah.
Fiona will explain that they've tried Kesh 13 and Rada 31. And that at this point they have no idea what date they should use, so they've just been guessing.
And at this point, too, you would note that the lock has been engaged, so you cannot attempt again today.
So, what do I pick up from just outside of the conversation?
Going over the box, since you have Thieves' Tools trained, you would very quickly kind of acknowledge certain elements. It's a puzzle box. The puzzle box has an auto lockout effect, which if you basically input the puzzle incorrectly, it will kick you out. It'll knock the rings and the orbs out. But basically, the puzzle is put the orbs into the right sections, place the ring down into the box. This unlocks the 4 kind of triangle portions in the center, allowing the center dial to be moved. It's placed on a specific single day, and you can see that there are day markers for each of the months therein. 365 in total. If there aren't really 365, don't at me. You push a button, you push the dial down once you've selected a day. If it's the right button, the presumption is it will open. If it's the wrong button, the presumption is it'll shoot out everything. And yeah, as you're kind of moving the dial, you have to, or to unlock the center portion, there are 2 triggers on the top that unlock that.
Okay. Anything else that I might pick up from it other than just the mechanisms?
It's unpickable. Based on its make, it's dwarvish. Based on its nature on its top, it's elvish. Which, as he's kind of like gauging that, Fiona, you're noticing this as well and relating it back to your studies from the day. Looks like it's a combination between elvish and dwarvish kind of artifice. And the orbs themselves actually appear to be interesting, kind of noteworthy, Soma. And I need you to go ahead and just make a perception roll for me.
Man, I cannot roll for shit today.
It's okay. 19 is what I'm taking on that with the advantage. This is something very kind of noticeable in the light. You kind of pick up one of the orbs, since it's all kind of piecemealed right now, and you kind of look at it in the light, and you can actually see that it's hollow on its interior. Not completely hollow, but there's like a cavity inside.
I'll kind of gesture to them to show that, at least to Fiona. Do you recognize this before? I guess I should ask how far you've gotten with this device.
She will kind of immediately
pick it up and try to figure it out for herself. We haven't really had the time to thoroughly inspect it, as we were in a dungeon that was slowly freezing us to death.
Right. And the dragon. Yeah, the dragon's
Yes.
generally not helpful for this kind of thing.
As you're passing it back and forth and kind of looking at it, the two of you kind of come to the same conclusion at the same exact time. You realize that cavity seems to be filled with some sort of fluid.
I'm guessing no way to tell what that fluid might be
Is
from
that the
viscosity or anything like that.
Fiona noting it, and Hezrod about to say what he's about to say. Go ahead and say it, Kat. I know what you're going to say.
Is that the only one with a cavity inside?
All four of them have it.
Yeah. Like, basically, as soon as Hezrod realizes that, he picks up another one and is just immediately like...
Yeah, but all of you are kind of taken back to Malika's very long-winded explanation of humorism. And you realize that this cavity is probably filled with the fluids that
It was concise. How dare you?
Sorry, apologies. Very concise and accurate description of the nature of humorism. So the presumption is the fluids that are inside of these orbs are humors.
I think she would gently try to take it back and look at it again and say, right, so I don't know if we'll find anything in the dungeon again, any sort of date laid out. But at the moment, we've only just been kind of, like I said, I guess the one day, and she'll kind of think about it and like explain her reasoning for that. It's a special day. I thought it might have been important, but now I'm thinking maybe we should look and see if there are any dwarvish days or elvish days, or does any of you know anything about that?
It is certainly interesting that they're both on here.
She'll nod at that and kind of turn her again to like the rest of the group. Honestly, this is something I've been trying to research for a while. I just don't really know anything. And if any of you have any ideas, I'd love to hear it.
Hezrod reaches for his axe and he says, "Why can't I just smash it?"
She gives you that look like, I will pounce. I will do it again.
I think this is more of a something.
He, like, reaches for his axe and says that, and she like assumes a ready stance, and he's like, "Ah!"
Kel, I'm sorry, can you say what you just said again?
I think this is something that requires more of a delicate.
No. I think this is more of a something. Was the exact words. Kind of.
Yeah, I was getting there.
Pushing Hezrod back. This is more of a something, and then explains that requires more finesse.
Yeah.
I can't say
I
that
wanted to make sure that everybody heard that. I think this is more of a something.
I can't say that I've ever seen anything quite this complicated. You said you've worked through one step of the mechanism, too?
She just kind of nods. Yeah, Malika knows a lot since she's a healer, I guess, or midwife, about the humors and about, and she kind of looks, it looks like they're seasonal. As you can see, and she'll point to the little figures, I think they correlate with the major seasons. But on that note, I don't know which specific, and she kind of again points specifically to that dial that's movable, and she'll point it out to Soma. It seems like we have to select something. That's the step we haven't figured out.
So we know that the orbs fit according to the humors of the body as they relate to the seasons of the year. That much we figured out. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's accurate.
Okay. It's rather like a calendar. So it seems like the code to unlock it will be a date. We know that, I believe, for sure.
And where exactly was it that this box originated from?
From a dungeon.
Yeah,
Up the
from the
river.
dungeon that I actually think we should return to at some point. On our way, if we are doing the dragon thing, it's not too far from there. And she'll kind of pause. But the other piece of it... Oh, sorry.
Well, it's a very dangerous place, and it would behoove us.
Hold on. Fiona would correct. The box did not come.
I was going to
from
say
the crypt.
from that place, and she was going to say, but the ring came from the place that was slowly freezing us to death, and I don't want to really return there because there's also a really ancient evil warlock who lives down there and wants to kill us. So there's also that. But I think that we should
Not a very
actually.
inviting environment.
That is the reason we left.
Ezra
Yeah.
does a double take. He was like, not a, wait, oh, right, the renegade.
She nods. Yes. So if you're okay with traveling to kill some dragons and perhaps entering the dungeon again, I don't know if you've ever been in a dungeon before.
And as she asks this question, she's actually going to try to like insight and see if he's going to lie about this or not.
Honest, out of character, I'm not sure if I've been in a dungeon, but I'm capable of taking care of myself. I can't claim to have a dragon tooth necklace, but
Never once.
Darlin, you didn't answer the question. Have you been in a dungeon before?
John, I honestly don't know out of
No,
character.
I'm saying never once.
Yeah.
That's
Oh,
not
never
your
one. No. Yeah, no. I can't say that I have, but I have had my fair share of trouble outside of a dungeon.
Fiona kind of nods at that and turns back and again at this point kind of like locks eyes with Soma.
I just hope you understand that while we were first traveling, we had this really lovely companion, Gorvadir, who ended up healing us a lot. But now we're kind of on our own, and it can get pretty, as Malika was saying, dangerous. So if you're okay with that, you're welcome to join us.
I must admit I am a little jealous of the title Heroes of the Library, so perhaps I can earn a title of my own through that trial and tribulation.
You and me both.
Soma,
I know
have
you're
you ever killed before?
Yes.
Who amongst us hasn't had to in this world?
Very true.
If you're looking for a little fame and a little fortune, I think this might be the right group for you, darling.
Excitement, fame, fortune, interesting dragon chess games. What else could I possibly want?
Well, we're also doing research, important research, and I would love it if people didn't just threaten to destroy it.
And she looks at Hezron again.
I'm trying to help.
Wait, what?
she kind of nods and smiles.
I know, Hezrod, I know. I was referring to your instinct to smash the box. That's not the sort of group that we should be, I think. We should preserve...
Do you want to try to smash the box?
I
Oh,
actually,
boy. Here
I
we go.
kind of
Did you
want
see
to.
Here we
Jack's
go.
little smile?
Did
Did
you
anyone
want
Can I-
to
notice that little smile?
Can I use Artisan Sorrow on the box?
You can try.
You can try. Fiona's going to leap across the room at you.
Yeah.
Oh,
I mean, Avron
Ezra's
would.
gonna say, Afra, Doc!
We want this box open, right?
Again, Fiona
Fiona?
knows her eyes.
What I was just finishing saying was that there's a part of a research and finesse
And she looks at Hezron again.
aspect of our work as well. So no, we're not going to just try to smash the box or smite the box or do whatever you were going to do with the box.
And she glares at Avran.
Well,
if you think
I
about
don't-
it, whatever's in there could be pretty delicate. So
I would
I-
also
you
caution
might
you.
want to be
I
careful
also-
because you might do it too heavy a swing and break whatever's in.
Okay, when you say
Yeah,
that,
that would-
Kel, Fiona immediately looks at you and she's like glowing. Like she's a big old smile on her face.
You also are very logical.
I try.
It's really good to see. Really good to see. Thank you.
Mhm.
There's an
Of
Hezron and
course.
Avran like a mother who's just absolutely embarrassed by her children.
I do not believe I would cause harm to anything inside the box. I believe it would
I-
just be the box itself.
I would just caution you that nobody spends this amount of time and effort to make something this complicated and ornate to just simply let it be broken open.
That is fair.
Is the box magic?
Do you try and cast detect magic on the box?
Ooh, true.
I can't. I'm just being like,
What about Fiona?
Can't anymore. She kept on going blind because of it, so she said,
Yeah.
"Fuck that navigation."
You have
Every
you have
time
all
she
the
tried to use
things.
it, she was in a riding
Brain
tunnel.
cells.
What am I supposed to do?
True.
I can't use it again. Not after what happened last time.
Too scarred.
We have all the
Although,
things off the box, right?
John, out of curiosity, Fiona will activate her ghost gaze and see if anything is.
You can't see through the box.
Oh shit.
So her eyes kind of go this like strange kind of. I'm imagining they kind of start to shimmer, and she immediately looks through the walls to like the tavern and sees all the people and everything. But she focuses on the box
So
and
yeah,
immediately, yeah.
you're looking around. You can see that people have kind of started to fill into the tavern because it's getting later in the evening there, or later in the day rather. You can see your mom and your dad are currently arguing. It does look like he has the food pretty much prepared and is probably going to come up this way to like serve you the food that he was making. But it does look like they're arguing, probably due to certain paladins running around shirtless. You would note there are, just the regular rigmarole who are in the tavern. But the thing that you notice most is that that box has a very similar nature to it in its construction. So too does the statue that you have. There appears to be orichalcum involved in the creation of this box.
Lining it. Got you. Got you.
No. It doesn't look like it's lined. It looks like the exterior is just a gilding.
Oh.
Oh, so it's plated.
Couldn't be broken anyway. Shit.
Well, to also prevent magic. That's why he was smiling earlier.
Yeah.
Any kind of magic. She would immediately note this and kind of swear. Fuck. All right. Yeah. Sorry, everyone. This box is really serious business. Soma was right. They put a lot of effort into it. It's lined with orichalcum.
Mm.
And again, for you,
Plated with
Tom,
orichalcum. Plated with orichalcum.
orichalcum is a very, very rare metal. Very rare. Adamantine is indestructible, except that it is something that can be destroyed and it can be manipulated by smiths. Orichalcum is like that, only it's kind of a greenish color, and the ways to smith it are forgotten, but to like a very rare few individuals. You would know that one of... I'll post this inside.
I did not know that either.
Oh yeah. By the way, did you read the letter? Ish.
I have no
Kind
idea.
of a letter. Okay.
Unfortunately, Fiona knows this and would have shared it with the people that were in her party when she was doing the research on orichalcum. That's why the statue is such a pain in her ass, because she can't do anything to it. It's just a statue.
So, did you find out any dates or? Yeah, did you find out any dates that could possibly open this? Or
She
do we
shakes her
need
head.
to visit?
Yeah, she'd shake her head. Not dates, but I found who perhaps might have had a hand in making it, and I have a feeling that if we can learn more about them, it might help us. There might be something important to them, some date that something happened, maybe the day that the War of the Sword and Serpent happened, something important like that.
Do we have to go back to that crypt?
She kind of just nods her head. Well, I would like to. Yes.
Tap, tap, tap on the door.
She looks over. The gaze only lasts, what is it, 1 minute or is it 10?
You can see it's your dad.
Okay, yeah. She just smiles. Yes, come in.
Opens up the door. You want it in here or do you want it out there?
At that, I feel like she kind of looks over at the rest of them. Oh, should we put this away for now and go out and eat?
It's okay. You can eat in there. It's fine. It just...
Well, I mean, if we can't open it anyways, might as well.
Table's a little low, that's all.
She nods. It's all right, Dad. We'll be out in a minute. Thank
Okay.
you.
I'll scurry you up a table.
Thank you.
At all, or no?
What's that?
Did he come in at all or no? Okay.
No.
He
Yeah,
will be
well,
waiting
I
for you
apologize.
outside the door, though.
Everyone
drink
wants to
anything.
apologize.
No. So if you go outside, you can see that, like, he doesn't really give you, like, a menacing look or anything that you'd expect from, like, a, it just looks like he is kind of, like, laughing about the situation. But you can see whenever he looks over to his wife, he seems to have a bit more of a stern kind of look to her. like he's playing it up for some sort of benefit.
Yeah.
He's gonna apologize anyway. At some point during the night, he's just gonna
Oh
come by,
God,
give
Avern,
his
that just
end,
makes it worse.
So much
gonna say
worse.
sorry.
I'm sorry I'm so attractive.
Yeah, even Hezrod's like,
so into
No, about the no shirt thing, not about attractiveness.
Oh wait, you're still not wearing a shirt?
No, he's wearing a shirt.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say. I thought you were still not wearing.
So you go to the table, you sit down. I just want to kind of fast track us and kind of get us like on a path. I just want to make sure as you're eating, if there's anything that you want to exchange, great. But if there isn't, like anything else that you want to kind of discuss, it does sound like the order of operations, the plan, I guess, is tomorrow do some shopping, take some downtime activities, and then the next day leave and head towards Manus. More specifically, the abandoned shrine near Manus. Is that right?
Yes.
Yes.
think so.
And the dragons were seen around the Manus area, right?
No, incorrect. Totally separate
Land's
segment
End.
of the world.
Yeah.
Land's End.
okay, Land's End.
Let's move to
yes.
Broken Blade Coast and discuss. This is
Cool.
as you're eating food, you're kind of pulling out your map and discussing. So the
Right.
dragons in question were near the Firefinger, more specifically
Oh.
up
Mm.
north near Stone Tooth and kind of in this area of this northern kind of forest north of Taw.
Isn't my tribe up near here?
So yeah, your rivers are actually here.
Oh, okay. I was thinking it was this one.
And no. It's they run
Okay.
they run from the marches in, and you would actually know that your Riverfolk people do a lot of trading with a town near there. The town is called Shokan. And
Shokan.
I will notate that there.
Where's Atus?
There's also some remnants, or not remnants, some scout patrols of Nock that do some help when things outside of giants kind of plaguing the river folk. And those folk are near in some camps in and around the rivers that kind of cut through the hills out towards the west.
Fuck them giant.
But yeah, if there's nothing more that you kind of want to interplay, I just want to kind of cut to the part where
I'm sorry. Wait, where was the temple?
the temple is up, the shrine rather is up here.
Oh,
There was one thing that Hezrod was trying to get some information on, and since all his other efforts have amounted to nothing, he was going to bring this up with Fiona while they're eating.
Okay.
He says, "Oh, Fiona, I wanted to ask you."
Yes.
like-
What?
Eating food, and he like wipes his hands off, and he says, "What has happened to my hands?"
She just looks a little taken aback.
What? Did you stick them in something?
No, I had a bad dream, and then I woke up like this.
Oh, well,
And she kind of thinks about it for a minute.
I could try to identify what it is. I would have to hold your hand for a solid 10 minutes if you're comfortable with that.
He wipes it off on himself.
Well, she will ritually cast Identify on his hand.
It doesn't do anything.
Doesn't do anything.
Do you have religion?
My
trained?
religion training. I don't think so, because I don't give a shit about religion. Yeah,
I
no.
do.
My character, I mean. My character, sorry.
If you have religion trained, you would understand that deities have specific natures. It appears that what you're looking at here is a destructive nature, a chaotic aspect of the deity, or more specifically, the god known as Atavius. Atavius is known as the even-handed judge, and those who believe deeply in his nature sometimes develop certain aspects of his even-handedness, his duality. The most famous one that you would understand was an individual named Grun Stonechild, who was more corrupted by the destructive nature, and his hand became completely taken by this darkness. It's chaos in its most pure form, imbibed in the hand of the cleric.
Would Malika be able to like overhear their conversation?
Yeah, you're sitting
Yeah,
at the
it's
same
all
table.
happening at the
Yeah.
table.
Okay, so she would kind of like butt in. Not Avran, Hezrod, I believe that the god that you serve manifests within your body. This is a manifestation of the chaos and destruction of your god.
The other hand is glowing. Good.
Yeah, it's like white and goldness.
Order.
Right.
Law.
And yeah, and he's like,
The duality of the deity.
Atavius. Yes, like the priest said.
Stares at his hands longer.
yeah.
Anything else?
No, it was just something.
Oh no,
wanted to
I meant for the group.
Oh,
Anything
yeah.
else tracking?
Did we want to? Someone mentioned before if we could take 2 days. Did someone say that? Was that Avran?
I believe so.
Oh no, Avram was asking how long we're gonna be in Knock.
1 day.
I mean, I wouldn't.
Okay. What do you want with the second day?
Well, I mean, I'd like to take a day to make potions and then a day to ask around about stuff.
Okay.
Unless I can fit it both into 1 day, if you will allow me to do
Well,
that.
depends on what you're asking around about.
So there was this place that I as a player know about that like where all the spooky bitches hang out
That's not here.
with like
Different city. Onamount. I know exactly where you're talking about. It's not here.
with the tunnel. It's not here.
Onamount.
Okay, is there like I think what Malika would want to know is is there such a place
Yeah.
in Knock?
So that would take your entire day to find if that is the case. So you can do that,
Okay.
or you can make potions.
Okay, I'll decide at the beginning of the next day then.
Okay. So then, I'm assuming we're fast tracking to the next day. So downtime activities are pretty limited for most folks. But I know that Kel is shopping for his downtime activity. If you're just purchasing ammunition, this is not a portion of your downtime activity. However, if you want to purchase something that has more weight to it, you can purchase any uncommon magic item that you can find in source material, and it's in the city. Common magic items the same, consumable or otherwise. If you wish to find a rare magic item, you'll need to roll a percentage dice. If you get less than 50, you found the item and can attempt to purchase it. If it's higher than a 50, then you cannot get the item. It's not here. So if you're just shopping for ammunition, you should be able to find the prices pretty easily in the compendium, and do so. Buy as much as you like.
Okay.
Hezrod, for your downtime activity, is there anything in particular you want to do?
Real quick,
Oh, so
I just
go
wanted to buy one of those stones too.
Okay, so yeah, that's a common magic item. It costs 250 gold pieces.
I will not be buying one of those stones.
Okay. If you want to buy a cheap one, just a simple
Yes.
one, it'll be 100 gold pieces.
I'll get back to you on that.
Okay.
I'm having trouble pulling up a list of rare magic items, but I don't think there's really anything Hezrod needs.
Okay.
The only other thing that's really on his shopping list is very rare, so we'll circle back to that later in the future. For now,
Got it.
I guess if Avran's going to go work out, can Hezrod put some time in for, I guess, like acquiring proficiency in athletics?
There's no trainer that you found that teaches that, so no.
Oh, okay.
Can other
Avron
players
would-
teach?
No.
Avron would he would actually try to look for informants with Soma if Soma wants
Okay.
to help find his children.
Soma.
We did promise to speak about that, so
Okay.
Yeah.
So then, in the evening, after everybody's talked, you have a conversation, discuss if that's what you want to do during the next day. Is that fair?
Yep.
Okay. So,
Oh, I'm sorry. So since Hezrod can't find anybody to train him in athletics, and it's not the day of Dan anymore, is it?
it'll be the day of Mons. So the first day of the
Excellent.
6th day.
So Hezrod's gonna go to the church now.
Got it. We'll get back to you.
Nice.
I'll quickly deal with Soma and Avran. If you are trying to gather up more information regarding Avran's children, what you quickly learn is that Melody Alistair, a person of decent repute inside of House Alistair, sometime long ago, she's quite old at this point, had children, but they were taken during the end portion of the Civil War as a hostage trade, and were effectively granted to the Ludocian kingdom, and there's no information regarding them beyond that point. Nothing in the city will get you more information than what has already been gleaned by Avran, and no amount of searching kind of in that portion of the day will get you any more than that. What you understand, Soma, is that if you can ingratiate yourself inside of a Ludocian city, you could probably get more information, but that's an entire province away. Like, it's on the other side of the province.
I'm sorry we couldn't find out more, but I will continue to pass along messages to see if I can get any more leads.
No, you've done very well. It seems my next journey, the next leg of my journey has to be in Ludos.
And so, your insight's high enough, you kind of pick up on a couple of things that are strange here. Avran looks like he's probably in his 30s or late 20s. The people that they're talking about, Melody is like in her 90s, and the children are probably the same age as Avran. Based on what is being described to you, their parent is a person named Avran Normac, the name of the person you're traveling around with. So you very quickly kind of come to the conclusion that there's something about this Avran that is either time displaced or in some way kind of like awkward, that these children are actually his. Otherwise, why would he be so interested in them? Moving on.
He didn't need a dragon chess piece, so he's at least got that going for him. He's all right in my book.
All right in my book. Fucked up temporally, but great. Kel, you buy the items that you needed. Malka, are you potion making or info searching?
Potion making.
Okay. Same number of potions you are able to make. And then Fiona, what are you doing during the day?
This may be a fool's errand, but Fiona will attempt to find out, first through her mom, through the social channels, then through the academic channels, if there's anyone in this continent that knows anything about the old style dwarven crafting, or the old dwarven or elven.
Your mom's a dead end, and they keep telling you that the only place that you could get any information like that would be Greysword, which is a mountain just on the verge of being a part of Angdanuk, the holiest of mountains and the tallest mountain in all the world. It is inside of the province of Tessa, which is to the west of Osiria.
Okay.
And for another historical thing that all Osirians would know, Greysword is the highest of Osirian dwarvish houses because it was a Greysword, Darwin Greysword, who was the one who mortally wounded Nayland Balcard at the Battle of Whitewall. Okay, and then Hezrod, you're going to the Atavius Church. You enter in. They allow you in. There's no malice or dudes trying to stop you.
Excellent. Yeah, he kind of looks around, and at first he kind of just takes a moment to kind of just check the place out, and then
A page walks over to you and says, "Priest, can I assist you?"
Yes. Who is in charge here?
Well, the current individual who is the orderer is, and he states the name, Maris.
Yes, Maris. I have questions. I need a favor.
Of course. I do apologize. spot meetings are not something that are typically allotted, but based on your nature as a one within the balance, I presume you're leaning more towards your tendencies and kind of gestures towards your chaotic hand. I will see if I can. I will inquire if he is able to receive a short meeting with you. One moment.
Thank you. Looks at his hand. Looks at his other hand.
You kind of
Puts
sit.
it on his sides.
You sit in the waiting room for a good 10 minutes. It's absolute madness for Hezrod. But eventually, this individual comes out and says, hello. Very interesting to see. Is there something I can assist you with? Wild one.
Yes, I have a problem, and I need help finding the right solution. There is someone who died.
Raises his hand. I cannot help you in your path. I know that there are things that you do not understand. And in fact, there are probably very dire circumstances that you are going through right now that you cannot come to begin to explain. The rules have not been made clear to you. And it seems that your way has become imbalanced. I can help you in only one way. And he smiles and pulls a book out of his pouch and hands it to you. On the cover, you see the cross of Atavius. On the side, in Old Osirian, the word Bynod. You're muted.
Oh yeah, Hezrod takes the book and like he's really like he does not know what to make of this. Like this, for a second he thinks the priest is serious, but at the same time, like this is not at all what he was expecting.
The answers you seek are within. Devour the book and its text. Grapple with the words that are within. Understand the duality of Atavius' nature, and understand that the true matter that rests within you is nothing more than two scales, two sides of a scale, out of balance. I would hope that after reading and after understanding, you will understand that an order bringer is one who can manage these scales best and help with the problems that you are having.
I'm sorry, he said an order bringer?
Yep, and so out of character, you would have heard the term spoken when Abram was here before. I believe I mentioned it. Order bringers are clerics of Atavius. But specifically Osirian clerics of Atavius.
Okay.
And the Bynod is the Bible, but for Atavius.
Right. Yeah. He's confused and he's thinking about everything this priest has told him. And he kind of just he's like I said, he's confused and he's kind of like absent-minded and he just sort of like stares off into space and nods and says,
It's like that classic, like he's turning you away, he's like patting your back and you're holding the book confused, not knowing what's going
he's
on.
like
Good luck, buddy.
Good luck.
Just holding the book and staring at it. And on top of that, it's like
I believe in you.
It's like, what the fuck am I supposed to do with this?
Ask Malika about it.
It's like devour these words. Okay.
Okay. Let's see. Cool. Yep, great. That's fine. John, I will find some information regarding that. Okay.
So he wanders out of the church to find his friends.
Yep. Perfectly fine. Everybody finishes their downtime activities, and at the end of the evening, you decide whether or not you're going to be leaving the next morning or staying around. I believe there's one.
Hezrod's ready to leave.
Yeah, one person who has cause for staying, and everyone else is not keen on it. Is that right?
Who's that one person?
Who's staying?
I believe Malika was interested in staying one more day.
Oh,
Nope, Malika never said that.
Okay, Malika never
Oh.
said it in character. Fair, fair. Sorry, I believe
Mhm.
Jijo was interested in staying one more day, and was hoping that.
No, if we gotta go, we gotta go.
Got it. Cool,
Let's
cool, cool. So if that's the
Hezron
case,
looks like he probably is gonna like go fucking berserk at some point. Like
do you
he's
read
very confused and frustrated.
Do you read the book?
Oh yeah, he will be attempting to read the book.
Okay. Yeah. Hold on a second here.
He's trying really hard to figure out what about this book is supposed to help him.
an attempt was made that day.
That was the important part.
I mean, if we set up to leave the next day, then Avron's gonna summon his elk, and we're gonna trot
Right.
off.
You have an elk?
Trot off. I do have an elk.
That's cool.
Is it also swole?
Yes.
It is.
It's beefy.
Incredibly swole.
Make sure you summon it away from the inn.
Can I use speak with animals to ask why it's so swole?
In the course of the evening, Averin, you do occasionally see that Hezrod is angrily consuming the book. A book you yourself are kind of grappling with right now. And it seems like he's probably very much stuck in like that first kind of aspect of it, just reading the creation myths, not really seeing
The
how this
first page.
relates. Yeah, the first page, not seeing how this relates or why this matters to him.
I mean, if he needs help, Everett will help him. Because, he's also studying the Binod, so.
The two of you have a Bible study sesh. Sword drilling. No, we're not there yet. If you've ever been to church, it's like, oh yeah, I know verses.
Oh, gross.
Yeah, whatever. Anyways, I moving on.
Wait, are they doing this at the end?
They're
Like,
probably
like-
off there on their own, but yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we're there talking Bible study, whatnot.
Yeah, he finds Hezrod sitting on a park bench screaming at ducks.
From what I've gathered so far, that could just be a normal day. I don't know why that would alarm anybody.
Doesn't seem to be any different than anything else I've seen from him. But as you kind of gathered up your resources and have set to the morning, you all do rest. And Fiona, you wake up feeling ready for the day as your constitution swells once again.
You mean swole?
19 con for the day. And everybody kind of gets ready to travel. You have the carriage, as we've discussed. And yeah, you.
I'm sorry, what's our first priority here?
Fuck shit up.
Travel.
Yeah, but I mean,
Oh.
we're like our first location, our first stop.
John, what are you doing to my token?
No, it's not your token. It's the group token. Every day I change,
Oh.
I choose a random side, and it seems like it's keeps rolling.
I assumed
Wait a
I
minute.
assumed we were going to Manus.
Hold on a
Yeah,
second.
Like
what's happening in Manus?
Wow, that's just the luckiest roll over and over. I'm gonna choose it. I'm gonna physically choose it.
Okay.
It kept on coming up Malika.
In Manus, I believe. Well, since Manus is off the road, are we going straight to Manus, or are we going to that temple?
Mouth.
So, if you recall, Onamouth will be the first place that you stop.
Yes.
Beyond that point, you'll move along the coast, past the fallen tree, past the abandoned shrine's location to Manus if you want somewhere to stop, or directly into the abandoned shrine if you care not. Travel-wise, it will take you the better part of half a day to get to Onamouth on the road via carriage.
Could we travel throughout the night?
Half a day to get to Onamouth.
Oh, sorry.
If
But
you
the rest of the, yeah.
travel for the remainder of the day, you'll make it just outside the abandoned shrine by light. But you'll note too that going this way with the carriage is possible. It is slow going.
Does everyone seem? Is everyone okay with doing that?
The last time you went to Manus with carriage, you went up to Hallerton, made your way to the base of Mount Silverfang, and then made your way down to Manus, which was easier with the carriage.
I mean, if it's easier, I think we'll go to Hallerton
Is it easier
after
or
Onamo.
I mean, it's easier, but is it more time consuming?
I mean,
Yeah.
are we in a hurry?
I don't think so.
I don't think so.
Yeah, I suppose not.
We could take the long route. Just enjoy the scenery. Take the scenic route.
I mean, because if we're saving, like, what are we really getting out of?
Okay, well,
like,
here's the thing.
Kel's a fan of the scenic route.
Yeah, Malika, Kel, and Soma have never been to Hallerton.
Hmm.
I say we take that route just for shits and giggles.
I mean, I haven't been much further than Firefinger, so.
I mean, I'm cool with it. I'm down to go with the Hallerton route just to show, the three what we've seen so far.
Okay. So you make your way up past the Dunwater camp, and then across the bridge there, up past Dunwater, and then through to Onamouth. Somebody roll a d20.
I'll do it.
On it.
First.
Uneventful. Literally nothing really happening throughout the course of the trip. Looks like there's good traffic both ways. A couple of auto carriages kind of honk honk as they pass by you. Very quiet, very simple kind of travel. It's a sunshiny summer day. Those of you who are inside of the carriage might be a little warmer than those who are outside of the carriage. But yeah, it's pleasant enough. You cross the bridge to Onamouth. You would note that there's the main kind of town section that you're allowed access to, and then you kind of have to take different paths to kind of get to the city proper. But the town is pretty much all you really need. In fact, Avran, it is where you met Fiona. When you first met, you were sitting with your carriage. She was looking for a swordsman to guide her into the Hallerton Woods, and you were that one. But if you'd like to explore Onamouth, we can certainly do that as well. But it does sound like you have plans and paths.
Malika would like to explore Onamouth.
It's not really. Shisha would like Malika to explore Onamouth because Shisha is aware of Onamouth.
Damn it, Jonathan!
Nature. Fucking town is sick, dude. I love it, but I think most folks are not. Again, this is it. This is halfway during the day. We're not even really through to a point where it's like terribly important. But yeah, you can stop in Nicer Pass for lunch, and then kind of make your way further up towards Hallerton. You'll arrive in Hallerton probably somewhere around 3.
Okay.
And then you could probably hoof it to make it to Manus by nighttime. But
we'll do that.
That being the case, you make your way into the Hallerton Woods, following alongside the Narrow, which is that kind of mountainous cliff rock area that has the northern portion kind of near the divide. This section here, kind of here-ish. And you make your way up to where you know Hallerton to be. However, what you see there instead is remnants. Looks like burnt out remnants of a town. A small
of Hallerton?
Of Hallerton.
For sure.
Hezron hops off the wagon and like runs into like the wreckage. Is it like still smoldering, or does it look like it happened a while ago?
Quite a while ago. But as you're kind of making your way into the town, you see one house. Looks like it's pretty decent in its repair. And it's not a house in actuality. It's a tavern. The tavern. The Let me double check.
Our tavern? No, our tavern's in Land's End.
The Sweet Misery.
Hezrod has drank there before.
Yep.
Basically, as he's like running through the town, he's like yelling, "Hello! Hello!
As
Is
you're
anybody here?"
As you're kind of saying that, you kind of look to the center of the town, and you see that there's like a pile of like rubble, and sitting atop of that is a person in a white and red tabard who turns his head and kind of looks over his shoulder at your sound. You can see that over his shoulder, music needs to change. This is too somber. Need something
Too
more-
somber for the burnt up town.
Yeah, need something a bit more menacing.
No, because we're about
Okay.
to fight, son!
Oh shit!
You see the white and red tabard seems to have the cross or arrow of Atavius emblazoned upon it. The head that turns and looks back over his shoulder is familiar to you, Hezrod. You remember him from the last visions you had before you were knocked down by undead.
Oh,
Not too far
fuck!
from Hallerton.
Hezrod kind of like narrows his eyes a little bit.
Over his shoulder, you see that there's a chain that is attached to a very large book, which has a very, very familiar cross to you, Hezrod, on it. He looks over his shoulder at you, and he says loudly, "You're still alive. Good. Flee this place. My ordeal has not yet ended. Yours need not begin."
What has happened here?
They came
Isaac?
back.
They who?
The undead. As they always do. He stands up and kind of slowly starts stepping down from the rubble. Whatever you found at Villisk awakened. It found its way here. My sword has done much to lay them low. Those that still live reside within. It's a defensible enough position. He gestures towards the Sweet Misery.
Will you remain here to protect these people?
It is my chosen ordeal. I will. However, the one we sent into Onamouth to request help has not returned in many weeks, or many 6 days. Have you heard anything of Thomas Vess?
Have I heard anything of Thomas Vess?
You're kind of like doing one of these like trying to remember moments, and then you remember that that was the name of the mayor of this
In
town.
Onamouth?
Of this town.
Or
He was the really eccentric old guy.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I mean, we just came from Onamouth and nothing seemed to pop out at me. So Hezrod says,
We just came from Onamouth.
Well, if you heard nothing of him, then so much the worse. I see you've brought a noble here, gestures towards Soma. Perhaps he and his house can assist?
Soma! Soma!
I will hop off the wagon and head on over.
Oh yeah, by now we're like right there.
Okay, sorry.
yeah,
In the
Hezrod's
wagon.
doing
Huh.
one of these, and he's like waving. He's like,
Come here, Avran! Come!
Avran, are you doing anything in specific while this is happening? Because he did mention undead.
I mean, he's gonna search for undead after everyone gets off the carriage. He's gonna unhook. He's gonna unhook his Helk and go search.
When you say search, are you doing anything in particular in that search?
Yes. My divine sense.
He seems to radiate with undeath.
Oh fuck. Is it like my undeath or his undeath?
Fiona, as you're kind of looking to this man, and you heard Hezrod say his name, Isaac, you have this weird memory. Someone in your history, an ancestor of yours, was a paladin named Isaac Woods. Blonde hair like this man. Stout. And with similar features to your own. He has a similar kind of countenance to a younger your father.
Oh.
And here he stands before you.
How?
Hundreds of years removed.
I was gonna say that should have been what, hundreds of years ago, or
Yeah, 900s.
yeah,
Her grandpappy?
But
I think there's a few more grands. but-
Aberrant, he definitely glows with undeath when you use Divine Sense.
I mean, if that's the case, he's gonna ask, "Are you deathless?"
He looks to you. Yes.
He's gonna put a hand on his shoulder if he can. He's just gonna say,
Well, if you walk towards him, he's not. He definitely doesn't appear approachable.
"Hmm,
Like he's
Okay.
definitely not an approachable fellow. He definitely has an intimidating air about him. But he says to you, "I fell beneath a shrine, south, far south of here. When I fell in duty. I fell without completing my ordeals."
Fiona takes out her map and kind of immediately approaches, not super close, but like holds it up for him to see.
Would you be able to point out where the shrine was? We've been quite a few.
It was in the province of Varhuin, which is very far south of here.
Oh, okay, so nowhere we've ever been before.
Right.
Clearly.
"May I ask what your ordeal is?"
My ordeal has changed. My ordeal now is to destroy all that are like me. 500. And then my curse will be lifted, and I will be allowed to die. My ordeal in life, which will never be completed, was to make sure that the Black Blade was never taken by Ithel's opponents. I failed in that regard.
Hey.
Yeah.
So out of character suggestion here. Maybe we can bring this guy with us to help us kill the fucking renegade.
Fiona, you'd be aware that there are multiple Black Blades in history.
Yeah.
The one he referenced dealing with an Ithel tracks on your history department. You have it trained. I'm not going to make you roll one. But Ithel Maynor was an elf who wielded a sword called the Black Blade, but was an adamantine sword that was forged for a power, specifically Thorn Stachianotl. It was an elvish rune sword. And according to the histories, it was said to be taken from that place where it fell and was wielded by a king in Parnak to the far south, king of a kingdom called Rostagar. Sword was said to have been an Esper Edge, which is a very rare magic item that holds the soul of a great dead hero. That's pretty much all that you have that tracks on that. But this individual says that he was bound to the sword with an individual named Ithel.
She'll kind of pause.
If we retrieve the sword, will you be able to rest?
It is no longer my ordeal. The sword no longer exists. It was taken far from this place. I saw it flee this world in death.
She just kind of nods at that.
As I said, my ordeal now is to destroy those like me. And out of character, an interesting note, because this would have actually been a really interesting part if Avran didn't decide to become a human, because it would have been a 1v1 fight.
Would have been hilarious.
It didn't happen, but I just want to make sure you're aware how fucking cool it would have been.
Wait, we can still do it.
No, it's not the same. I don't want to fight you now.
Right.
You're a dirty human.
Well,
I will remain here, but I do not suggest returning here unless you are keen on traveling with me to Villisk.
Okay, so real quick, Villisk was. What did
The
we do in Villisk?
the graves, the mounds
Mm.
where
Okay.
the
Cool,
old
cool, cool,
Montoulet are buried.
Okay, so he's saying if we stick with him, we'll travel to Villis.
He says if you want to go with him to go kill all of the undead at Villisk, then he'll leave this place. Otherwise, he's staying here to kill anyone.
I
who
mean,
enters.
those were the same undead that almost killed Hezrod.
Mm-hmm.
And Evron.
Oh, yeah. I mean, Hezrod would he's feeling pretty fucking awesome right now. It's yeah, he would not mind getting some much needed revenge.
He said they killed Annis.
And he holds up the duck hat and he looks at it and just closes his eyes, has a moment of remembrance.
Oh my god! Oh my god!
They killed Annis.
And he holds up the duck hat. Get inspiration.
I can only have one, Josh.
Give it to someone else. He holds up the duck hat. It's
If anybody
true.
needs an inspiration, have one. But yes, that was a callback.
Oh god.
It's on point. RP is on point.
Is the undead threat affecting any other place like the town east of here, Manus?
They have not passed me. All who have made their way down from the honeycomb of hills at Villisk have met their end here.
Ooh, Fiona kind of.
Out of character, Fiona, Avran, and Hezrod, you would remember that it was a weird, twisting, natured kind of grouping of hills that led to Villisk. You had to kind of maneuver through the shorn pathways, the wind-shorn pathways to get to it. But go ahead with what you were going to say, Fiona.
Oh, I was just gonna say, knowing that he's a good, great hero that wants to destroy these undead, and a family member, she would actually pull out the box and ring and just show it to him and say, "Do you recognize this at all from your time? I don't know if this was before Were you around during the War of the Serpent?"
No.
I shouldn't understand that. Is that way, way, way back?
The War of the Sword and Serpent was during the Second Era.
Never mind.
We're
She
in
wouldn't
the
have said that then.
Fifth Era. And the Fifth Era is 1055, or yeah, the current year's 1055. So this era is 1,000 years, and will continue on for probably another 900 or so. The era,
Okay.
yeah, it's way back.
Cool,
Way
cool, cool.
before.
Prehistoric, got you. So
Well,
she would
no,
still
not that far back.
No, we played prehistoric.
Okay,
But-
in my mind's eye, it's prehistoric. She's gonna pull out the box still and see if he recognizes it, since he seems to have been a well-to-do,
No idea.
whatever. Yeah,
Hmm.
she'll just nod and put it back.
So, if you defeat or end all of the undeath in Villisk, will you finally be able to rest?
I do not know how many they number. Each one that comes to this place will meet its end at my blade.
Hezrod looks at Avran and you can tell by the look in his eyes that it's Hezrod wants to get in there and
Oh yeah, Avron's with you there. He's definitely wants to.
so they share a look
Yeah.
where they're
And then
we gotta be holy warrior bros.
And then we look at Isaac.
He's also Holy Warrior Bros, but what was Cal saying?
Yeah.
Kel looks at the map and kind of says, "Oh well, Villisk ain't too far. We take a slight detour."
I say we help this man. Let him rest.
Yes. We may not be able to destroy them all. But
Fiona actually scrunches her face at that. If we help, does that contribute to your count, or do you personally have to kill 500?
I personally have to kill 500.
So us helping is actually hurting you, isn't it?
We can leave him for him to.
It would allow
Yes.
me to put the people
Do
who are
most-
still remaining here at ease. He gestures towards the tavern. If nothing else. But me staying here and protecting them also keeps them at ease and ensures that they are coming to me, meeting their end. But
Are you gaining a count while you're?
I think
while
it's
you're here?
somewhere upwards of 100. I lost count, but I'm under the impression that I will be made aware.
Gotcha.
So
I say we still go to Villisk.
I don't know. Fiona kind of looks at the others.
Well, I personally hate the dead. Big surprise here, I'm an Osirian, so I'm willing to go kill some if you are, but I don't know if we should draw the last death, I guess. Try to almost kill them and let him finish them off. I don't know how we want to do this.
I do not need your charity.
She got
I was
impossible.
thinking of his
Y'all
charity
heard the
more
man.
as
He doesn't need our charity.
not charity, but you know.
Malika, you heard the man. He doesn't need our charity. Jumping back in the wagon. Let's fucking go.
Why? Clearly, he doesn't need our help. He's a highly qualified hero in itself. Y'all do not let your reputation as heroes go to your head.
I know you're.
I know this is difficult for you, Avrian and Hezrod. But we have our own business to take care of.
Oh, speaking of which, do you want to try 2 more days at random? Because
Oh.
the box, you've had it available to do 2 more
Yeah,
days.
I think every day we would try every single day.
Sure.
I'm gonna go holy days. So if there are any off the top of our heads,
So-
dwarven or elvish holy days.
So just month first, because I'm an American.
Cool.
The number of the month and then the day of the month. So, like, if you were wanting to do like the first day of the first month, it'd be 1/1. Or whatever.
What day is Fraptious Day?
What day?
Fraptious Day.
Fraptious.
Yeah.
What are you saying to me?
Fraptious.
Fractious.
What the fuck are you saying to me?
Fractious.
It's from Alice in Wonderland. Never mind.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Fractious.
I guess I need to
Forget it.
I'm sorry.
God,
I'm dumb.
I hate you.
I'm dumb.
Have you tried the
Chad,
equivalent
you
of
muted.
What was that, Tom?
Have you tried the equivalent of the leap day or whatever that,
Yeah.
according to the handouts in cash? Okay.
Yeah. But that's the thing. Like, I think because it's probably obviously dwarven or elvish make, my next best guesstimate would be like, yeah. So if I know that there's like, you know, they're the 4 season ladies. If one of them has like a day specifically that's their day or something.
The
Did you?
the eyes of the month that they are celebrant of is their day.
Did you try the day that the Serpentine War ended?
There is
Or
no
started.
day where the war and Sword and Serpent ended. There's also no day the War of Sword and Serpent began. The War of Sword and Serpent is an era. It is
Gotcha.
a long ass fucking war. Like, it was demons and dragons on one side, and
Mhm.
elves and celestials on the other side. Basically
That's battle.
fighting. That's battle. Fighting.
That's battle, right?
And humans rising up.
Can I make
to...
a religion roll?
Go ahead.
Okay, just to come up with a date.
Well, if you're just coming up with a random date, like religion tells you that there's a lot of important dates for elves and for dwarves, but none that are iconically kind of like standing out as more important than the others.
Is there a holy day that they share?
No. Yes.
Okay.
Also no. But yes, also. There are lots of holy days.
I feel like we should just make our way down the list of holy days then, like even though none is more important than the other, just until we get anything, I don't know, more to grasp.
Sure. Granted, so if you're just shooting into the dark, like holy days aren't going to change much in the regards of shooting off the.
Okay, wait. Okay, so what about this? What about trying today's date? And every day we try the date that is today.
Okay. So I think we discussed.
Wait, I'm asking the group.
Oh, sorry.
Does anyone have anything against that?
I assumed we had already tried that already.
We've done
No,
that
but
once before.
it's
we
We
did
certainly
the
easier.
current date.
Yeah.
Yeah, we did the current date.
But if you're going to
Um,
be going through random dates, that's going to be a lot easier to keep track of
But
than scattershotting
Yeah.
from
today
holiday
isn't
to
your
I
holiday.
day.
mean,
year we'll
that
have it
would be a
open.
neat trick. The current
Yeah.
day that you're on is when it opens.
So
Yeah, if we haven't
Is
done
anyone
that,
against it?
go ahead and do that.
I'd say do
Is
the
today
holy
special?
days, just in case.
I think Holy Days is too obvious.
But if you're going to compile a
Or
list of important dates, so it'd be like you start with
I
holy
feel like
days,
that's video
then
game logic.
start with holy
Yeah.
days, and then you go and
Kinda.
you do like equinoxes and solstices. Or we could try to learn more about the box, learn who was involved in. I think we have like some sort of lead on who was involved in making it.
we have to go to the Broken Temple to find out
Right.
anything else.
Okay,
only
so
other-
we do more
Chad,
research on that.
Chad, that was a good line of reasoning.
Yeah, I was going to ask, what was the date that it started on?
What started on?
The
The
spinner.
box.
What date was
Spinner.
it pointing to in its default position, if there was a default position?
Nobody asked that when it was in the default position, so that is
Boo.
knowledge that is not available.
Ooh.
Get wrecked. Us.
Sorry, I didn't get here straighter,
Damn it,
guys. I don't know what.
You're late, Tom.
Get wrecked. Get wrecked
You brought
us.
a brain cell too late to the group. We needed it back then.
Yep.
Could they at least make an
Wait,
estimate
okay,
of like
so
the
what-
range it was in?
So what date are we trying today?
It was in
Yeah,
the
what date are we trying, Fiona?
northwest.
You're the brain cell right now.
of the box.
It doesn't matter.
Okay.
We're not going to get it. So we'll just do 2 random dates.
Okay.
Okay. So
Until we have more information, it's not happening.
if you
so
want to make it easier for me, just roll a D366. If you're just doing completely random, you can type /roll D366.
she has been marking down in her book like which ones we've tried. So I know that we have like Kesh 13, Rada
Right.
31, and she'll keep writing it down. So they won't repeat it. That won't be their issue.
Yep.
So 364. I don't...
Yeah.
Well, no, if you roll D366, I can tell you if it landed on the 2, because, again, the months are pretty clear.
Can you tell us if it's close or not? Or hot or warm, cold?
Fuck no. Stupid bitch.
Milwaukee is somewhat warmer.
Can you tell me if it was
Jonathan.
close? What are you
Oh my
saying at
god.
me?
Don't say that.
It gets
Milwaukee
ejected
feels
with
icy
3%
cold after.
less
Fuck are you-
velocity.
I'm so sorry, Jonah. What the fuck?
It's a mood lock.
It's like, am I getting warmer? Everything pops out. Guess not. So sorry.
Can we pray to the ancestors and ask if they know?
Child, this is a wrong campaign.
Yep.
Oh, Avran, maybe you could ask for a favor.
It's not a
Oh.
thing.
Fiona,
Good.
you could ask for a favor.
She does not respond to that.
I think I'm all favored out. I think everyone's all favored
Although
out.
she would have asked Seymour many times, I'm assuming, if he knows what this box is or recognizes it. So yeah.
No idea, but he basically parrots Hezrod's exact statement. It probably has some
Kelwood-
importance to do with the
Whoever
people who
made the
made
box.
it.
Yeah, no, Fiona
that's-
knew that. She absolutely knew that when
Oh.
she did all her research that like those people who created it, so she knows they want to go there. She wrote that down as well. I just know that it's going to take us a while to get there.
What was it, Gijo? What
Oh,
was it?
Jonna, you
I forgot the
forgot
D.
the D.
I got
Oh.
258.
Oh, he literally rolled the.
Gotcha. 258
Oh, no.
and
Do it again. 174.
Kel would ask who y'all are asking.
That's
favor
it. You
of.
got it.
Yay!
Oh,
Did it
Kale.
open?
so both days they'll pop out.
Damn it.
Sometimes when things aren't going well, or when you
Mhm.
have
Mhm.
something really important to ask, you just pray and see if you get what you want. And sometimes Avron can tell you you can get what you want.
Let's say, is that often work or?
No.
In
That's-
that right, Avran.
Avran's like, no. It was I'm sorry.
Kel, you've seen
go.
Kel, you've seen what I can do,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Sure have.
I do all of that just with a little prayer
Off of favors? Oh, sorry, prayers.
and prayer and
Prayers and
favors.
favors. Okay.
Pretty
It's
cool for
that
a healing
simple.
potion.
If you ever need a favor, Kel, let me
Mhm.
know.
Okay.
Got the date updated.
Or 2d4 plus 2 HP.
And yeah, miss on both those.
Oh. Okay.
Were we
Favor.
warm or cold,
Yeah.
Jonathan?
Cold as ice, willing to sacrifice our love.
Give yourself a hand, dog.
Are we cold? We yes.
Chopping.
So,
broccoli.
Hezrod thinks the new plan is to spend at least one evening standing shoulder to shoulder with Isaac Montalais in defense of these people,
That's not his last
slaying
name.
endless waves
That was
of...
never his last name.
Montele.
No, his last name is Woods, if you ask him his
Oh.
last name, but he never told you what it was.
Are we going? So
Yeah,
are we going to
I
Villas?
was doing this.
I guess I erroneously assumed he was a Montalais.
No.
Because that's how I have
Montalais.
his name written in my notes.
That's weird.
Are we going to Villas?
I'm writing his name like that in my notes.
Are we going to Villas or to Manus?
Hezrod wants to go to Villisk. Or were we going to meet them in Villisk, or were we gonna hold our ground here and let them come to us?
Oh, we're fighting.
Oh no, we were going to Villas, 100%.
It was either we're going to go to Vilsk or we're going to go to Manus.
We're gonna just like bum rush Villas.
So
Fiona,
we should probably
what
do a
are we
group
doing
vote.
here? Why
Going
are
to-
we?
going to Villas.
What are we doing? I don't understand.
We're
We've
going to
got
Villas.
things to do.
We're
Yeah,
going to Villisk with Isaac to kill undead.
Indeed.
she'll
That's
just kind of she'll see that happen and just kind of shrug and turn back. Well, I guess we're killing undead now. I would love at some point to go try to find was it, sorry, just to double check, because you told me this directly. I don't think I actually, did I write it down? I really hope I wrote it down. The place where you said that the old dwarvish people lived in the mountain area. What was the name of it again?
Gray Sword.
Gray Sword. Oh, I did write that down.
down.
I did write that down. She would suggest, I have a lead that we might be able to
Is
find
this
out
the Mountain Rage right here?
Do
in
you
Gray
see-
Sword.
Do you see the map?
Yeah.
It's way far.
Oh.
Yeah.
To put that in
This is like the-
context, it's 1,192 miles away from your current territory or area.
Nice.
So
So
bad.
she
By
kind
the
of say,
time we get there, we'll have gone through all 366 days, so we won't need to go there anymore.
There we go. There it is. There it is.
There's that brain cell.
That brain cell's operating.
That brain
Wait,
cell.
would it actually take a year?
And you were saying I was a math wizard.
Would it actually take a year to travel that? Okay, I was about to say.
No.
Better part of a couple months.
That's
I don't
fine.
think she would want to do it by foot, though. I think at that point she would.
We
wanna-
wouldn't be on foot.
Carriages.
No. We would want to transport there.
Yeah,
Well,
we'd be.
I'm not gonna
Nathaniel.
let y'all die. You know, I will always try to keep you from hurling yourselves into an early grave.
Below the price of
Insight.
30 gold a
Insight
pop.
check. Can
Hold
I
on.
insight check that?
Hold on. For a second. Because I did just realize the time. So I'm going to put something to you real quick. It does sound like we have a split. I just want to make sure it's satisfied before we start the next session. Avran is for going to Villisk to deal with undead. Hezrod is for going to Villisk to deal with undead. Malika is anti go to Villisk, continue on with the goal in mind, which was to deal with what's happening in Manus and the shrine therein. Fiona, same as Malika?
Same as Malika. Yes.
Now that puts two our new folks here into kind of a divide. I'll go ahead and start with John. Kel, here's the two options. Deal with the box or go fight some random undead.
Kel will look at the kind of the pile, the inn, kind of look up towards the mountain range. He says, "Well, I don't think I like any good people die anymore from this, and I'll say we should go up the mountain."
Okay.
So I'm voting towards
Soma, you have the last vote here, so you could. It's not a tiebreaker. You could create an actual tie, and if that comes to the point where it is, I will tie break. I have a tie break solution.
Well, I feel like the box is a little more urgent getting information for the box because we're just throwing darts at a wall hoping that we hit the right point. Our associate here seems like he's holding this position fine, so I suggest that we go to the shrine, find what information we can, and on the way back, we take care of the problem.
At that, since it is a perfectly spirited divide, half and half, Isaac says to Avran, looks at you, uncoils the chain from his wrist and hand, and drops the book in front of you. The Bynod of an acolyte of the Holy Swordsmanship. You carried a book like this when you were young. And he says to you, I told you, this is not your ordeal. You have your own. I do not need you.
Oh.
Accepted. I wish you luck.
If you wish to serve me, the 3 people inside of that tavern need safe passage. Manus is as safe a place as any. Take them with you.
Understood. I go pick them up.
Okay. And I will bring the names of them to your attention at the beginning of the next session, actually probably in notifications in the Discord. Thanks for watching those that did. We will pick up next session with the final leg of the journey between the ruins of Hallerton and Manus. Thanks for watching. See you next week.